seconds before we go live every time. I just get so nervous. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Caliber Corner number 66. What is up? Man, we got a lot of people chatting already. Man, geez, well, all right, here we go. So a lot of people over here in the chat going on right now on the YouTube side. We got people hanging out on the gun channel side right now. A lot of interesting topics for today. And again, we're going to continue basically part 2 of the Big Bore AR series. We'll talk about 458 Socom. I'm thinking next week we'll talk about the 50 Beowulf. And we'll go from there. If you're interested in 450 Bushmaster, I posted a little snippet last night of the discussion that we had on 450 Bushmaster. A lot of people thought that we had done a Caliber Corner episode and forgot to mention it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of stealing a page out of the Hank Strange playbook where he puts a little snippet up from one of his podcasts. And it's not really a little snippet for us. It was 30 minutes. But it's still, if you're interested in 450 Bushmaster, and a lot of guys might be out hunting for a rifle this weekend, searching for a rifle this weekend for hunting, and they might be interested in that. And then today we'll talk about 450 Socom. So real quick, let's just see who is going on over in the YouTube side. Man, I can't even compete. We got Midnight Ranges over there. Jim Burgess is over there. Andrew Peterman's with us. 50 Beowulf has proven itself in action. Andrew, that's a good point, because I don't know if 458 Socom is everything it's wrapped up to be. Jim is there. Jim is here. Calaveras 32 Special, Blue Steel 44, Patriot in the dark, Rich White, tacos and french fries, sitting at a balmy 77 degrees in Palm Beach, Florida. You don't even know how lucky you are, bud. You'd love 15 degrees for a couple of days. Tacos and french fries. Let's do a little holiday house swap. You come over here. You can run my snowblower, and I'll go sit on the beach. Let's see here. Moobut in the house. Ozzy Orsborn's with us today. Scott P79. First person to check in was Andrew Peterman. All right, this is good stuff. Over on the gun channel side, I just refreshed it. We got Tony's over there. Tony's with us. Jim is here. Jim is there. Paper Plane Crash is with us. And Jim says he's getting his cup of coffee. Jim, you're with us, so we're good to go. All right, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves, and we will go from there. Starting on my right, Tony, what is new in your world, brother?
Cold.
Cold. You too, huh? Don't you love it, though? Doesn't it just make you feel alive while maybe dying when you walk outside and it's 9 degrees, 12 degrees, 15 degrees?
Well, it's a balmy 20 here. But
oh, you are lucky. God, 20? Man, that's almost T-shirt weather. So the winter hunt's been successful for you this year, Tony? So far, so good?
Well, it had been, but now I'm old and it's too damn cold.
So no deer for you this year at all, or are you pretty much done with the deer thing?
Deer season don't even start here until next weekend.
All right. Over here we got Sandhill Shooter. He's giving us a little preview of what's going on in Nebraska. Dude, where's your ice scraper at?
What's an ice scraper?
So this is what Nebraskans deal with every morning if you don't have a garage when it gets below freeze and you've got the frost on your windshield every day. When it gets to 0, it's like painted on the windshield. You cannot get it off. It is awful. So I actually have I have an ice blocker that I throw over the windshield if the car sits out overnight, and you can take it off and it keeps the windshield clean. So
I should look into that.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't.
Yeah. Well, these have little wings that go inside the doors, and they got magnets on the top. So when it gets windy out here, it won't blow off the windshield.
Oh, cool.
And so it keeps it tight. So when you go in the morning, you just take it, whip it off, just shake it off, and throw it in your back seat and go. And you can.
Cool.
They got them in Walmart where they have the windshield sun blockers in that area. So I've had one for years, man. They're freaking awesome.
I have to look into that. No, I've got remote start. I just didn't bother starting it up before I came out this morning. So I could have had it all toasty warm, but this thing doesn't idle cheap. So
yeah, no, I understand. No, I get you, man. I get you. Real quick, we're gonna shift back to Tony real quick. Tony, yeah, go ahead, man.
And a buddy of mine used to take an extension cord and electric heater out and stick in his vehicle overnight and just kept it warm as toast.
Yeah, there are people that do have block heaters out here. You don't see a lot of it, but some people do have vehicles with it. I know that they're kind of becoming more and more rare. But you do still occasionally. What's that?
I'm not talking about a block heater.
I know.
Forced air heaters.
Oh, yeah. You put it underneath and have it point straight up or point it at an angle, or just sit it in the engine bay and let it heat up the whole engine, put it on low.
No, you put it inside the vehicle to keep it warm inside.
Oh, my God. How do you not light that thing on fire, man? I'd be worried about it catching the fabric on fire or something. Jeez.
I don't know, man. He never did catch one on fire that I know of.
Okay. So, Tony, are we still looking at getting the early watch going in January? I'd love to join in on a couple episodes. Is that going to happen or what?
As far as I know, it is.
Okay.
concerned with moving out of Illinois for the moment.
You're looking at moving? You're thinking about leaving?
Yeah.
Oh, regulations and gun laws, or what is it?
Pending, yeah. This goofy bastard we elected is god awful.
Well, hey, if you want the same weather and you want maybe a little bit lower cost of living, come on out here, brother. We got plenty of room for you, man. Plenty of room. You move in next door. There's houses for sale on my block.
And you can have 30-round magazines or whatever.
Come celebrate freedom, bro. We got 250 public hunting grounds.
Now,
what's that?
We can have those here right now, but that may end in a couple months.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope you get grandfathered in if things go south, but I don't know. All right, man. So, Tony, thanks for joining us. We can talk about the voting and stuff a little bit later on if we want to. We should have some time. Squib is with us. Squib, how was your morning going, man?
I haven't had coffee yet.
Oh, I can tell. All right, man. So people want to follow you, Squib. Where can we find you at? Where do you have a presence online?
Well, I jump on shows all week long. I've been on a show every day this week except Friday. So I've got a channel, but I haven't put any videos out. I won't be probably doing any videos until after hunting's over. So there's no new videos for a while. But I'm on Budget Guns and Gear Review on Friday, and Hawaii Volcano Squad's Lock and Load on Monday, and Rick's Life as I See It on Wednesday, and 2A Tuesday on, Tuesday.
Yep.
And I got an invite to Sarge's show on Thursday. That was kind of fun.
Okay.
I had to miss the middle of the show because of work. I usually do I jump on in the evenings because I work second shift, so there's background noise. But
okay.
Just thanks for the invite. And I was watching a rerun of Buck Commander last night.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had obviously nothing else to do, right? Mm-hmm. And they were in Nebraska.
Okay.
And those deer are big.
Yeah, I've had some buddies hit some huge bucks out here. I mean, you can get that anywhere you go, but they're very well fed out here. A lot of them graze out in the pastures and fields after the harvest. I mean, they're right by the roads and they know they're going to be safe there, so they just bulk up basically on corn and soybeans and stuff.
Was that the one where Willie had never hunted in Nebraska before and he flew into that little podunk airport?
Yeah, to make a pit stop.
Well, that was in Salina, but then when they got to where they were going, they were up in Ainsworth, where I used to live.
Yeah, that was it.
When I worked for the irrigation district, I drove right past that airport multiple times a day. That happened a year. You know, that hunt was last year, and the guy that runs the airport, there's a staff of one at that airport, and he posted pictures on Facebook of him and Boss Hogg standing there together. That was kind of cool.
So the runway's like a closed section of highway they don't use anymore?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's only 6 cars that actually have to wait when a plane lands, so it's okay. There's an airplane stoplight is what it is.
Just rolls up in the parking lot, people just get out, don't even TSA it, the hell with it, just get in the plane and go. It's like, fine. If you came out here, you're probably not doing anything nefarious, get in the plane and go. So
there actually used to be a huge, at the time, there was an air base as such there. They've taken out a lot of miles of runway, and they've only got, I think they've got 1 mile long runway and 1.5 mile long runway left. That's all that's out there now, and then some grass runway. But they took out a lot of concrete when that went over to the public instead of, I think it was an Army airstrip.
Okay.
So,
that was kind of cool seeing that.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to let Sandals go and do his intro since he was already chatting. Sandals, you want to just give us a little shout out for your channel, do some plugging?
Yeah, you can find me over on Sandals Shooter, and there's all kinds of not very high quality videos there, but apparently some people find them mildly entertaining. So go check out some of the old ones from last April in Tulsa. Some of the road trip with Travis and me, that was comedy gold. some of that. But you never know what you're going to see me pop up there at any given time. I don't really have a schedule for my videos, except for Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock Central Time. Feel free to come on over and join us for 2A Tuesday every week.
It's called 2A Tuesday Hit or Hit, right? That's what it's called? 2A Tuesday Hit or Hit?
It's called 2A Tuesday We Need a Hit after Hit or Miss.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man, them spotting words there, buddy.
And he's not even here to defend himself. That was a cheap shot. I'm sorry, Night Strike, if you hear this.
He was probably up gaming late last night. I think he stayed on after I dropped out of extremely time video game play. Night Strike was still playing, I think. So, yeah, those guys are probably up a little bit later than me. Not much, but
come on. We all know you're trying to bait him to get in here. You just put out the bait, and he'll be coming across your site.
He won't show up unless we start talking smack about him. Then he'll actually show up. So, all right.
So wait, I'll say it. Bump stock.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
You have to say it 3 times in front of a mirror.
Oh, well.
Biggie Smalls or Night Strike will show up. Bump stock, bump stock, bump stock. There we go. Oh, man.
I thought you had to say blue dress 3 times in front of a mirror.
Hey, guys, real quick, talking about Tulsa. There's some awesome gun content that's going up over our gun channels, Gunstreamer, UGEtube, GunTube. CloverTack's out there right now. There's a lot of other people that are down there. Mr. Gary's down there right now, too, in Tulsa. So do check out their channels. Check out what they're showing. I want to see the difference kind of between the November and the when was it with April? The April Tulsa gun shows. I want to see what the difference is maybe in the makeup of the firearms. I'm kind of curious if there's a difference, but I'm deciding right now what to do. Next year, I'm either going to do Tulsa in the fall or Tulsa in the spring or SHOT Show, either or, because I only get 2 personal days to burn, so I really wouldn't have an opportunity to easily go to all those events as much as I want to, and I will as soon as I retire, but it's going to be a while. But yeah, so that's kind of my plan right now. Sand Hills, thanks for joining us, man. You get yourself off to work there, and just keep staying with us as long as you can, right? Yeah, thanks for having me. Cool. And by the way, it looks exactly the same there as it does here, even though we're 200 miles apart. All right. Jim's with us this morning. Jim, how's it going, bud?
Not bad.
All right. How's everything in your world, man? You staying busy as usual?
I have a grandson coming home from the hospital today.
Oh, thank God, man. That is awesome.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, it might be grounds for a gun shop with the grandson, Jim. There's a lot of good deals right now out there. You might need to go out there and pick him up a little something that, you know.
Hey, the boy's going to need a 22 sooner or later.
I know. Man,
grandchildren are the perfect excuse to buy lots more guns.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, honey, I got one for him. I had to get one for me. They're buy one, get one for me, right? That's how it works, right? Buy one, get one me.
Well, and even better, because you can still justify buying the one for you by saying, well, this is going to be MJ's one day.
There you go. Exactly. All right. Everybody keeps talking about how they want the winter weather, how they want to enjoy the winter weather. I'm not even complaining at all. I'm used to it at this point. It doesn't even faze me. 15 degrees with the north wind gets a little chilly, but I'm looking over on the chat over there. People are saying, oh, I wish I had snow. I wish I had those temperatures.
I like snow. I like the winter weather, and I like the snow. But I would have been willing to let anybody come in and help me scoop it yesterday when I got to work.
Oh, not good.
The sad thing is we actually pay somebody to come here and move snow off of our store parking lot and our sidewalks. I have to be here by 7:30 when I open up. The door has to be unlocked by 7:55. So I had the walk scooped and salted before I opened up the doors. And then the guys came to scoop and move the snow at 9 o'clock.
Dude, I'm telling you, you need to invest yourself in a little snowblower, man. They're so nice to have.
Well, not at work. I've got one for the house.
Oh, okay. I got you. Good
the
deal.
Company's not buying a snowblower.
They should, man. They should. All right. Jim, content, man. You gonna maybe try to get some new vids up this spring when it warms up a little bit? What's the plan?
I think so. I think the next thing I want to do is get back to Ghosts. What does he call those things?
Oh, the instructional videos, the tactical, the monthly, the once a month.
The drill of the month.
Drill of the month. Yeah. Drill of the month. I think that might be the next thing I put out there.
Well, yeah, there's some. Are you going to do your own, or are you just going to go ahead and take some of his that you haven't had a chance to do yet and go ahead and do those?
I'm going to go ahead and go back and do those.
Okay, cool. No, that's awesome. Yeah, those are definitely a lot of fun. I need to try to get. I'm gonna try to get out today if I can, and I don't know if I'll be doing one of those, but I got a couple guns I want to test out. And so anyway, Jim, thanks for joining us. I still think you should do a home improvement channel because you could have been documenting that whole journey of the tiles. Maybe this spring when you started back up again, you could maybe do a little instructional video on how to install some tile, man.
First video you might see is me ripping up this glued down wood that I despise.
There you go. Show the whole process, man. I'd subscribe. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us. And again, if anything comes up, you have emergencies, whatever, just give us a holler and let us know. And Jim, we will start off with the topic you suggested. And
Cool.
I've already prompted the guys on it, so they have a heads up on what we're going to talk about. So we'll be set for that. All right. David Bowling is with us. David, what's going on? What's new in your world, brother?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm doing fine. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Always appreciate it.
You got your cup of coffee going on today?
Yes, I do.
Good. All right. So what's new for your channel, man? What's going on? We got a lot of variety showing up on over there. What's the plan?
I got a new pistol I'm picking up on Wednesday, so I'll have a review on that, and then
Sweet.
maybe some target stuff this weekend if I can get out to the range.
All right. Good deal, man. Good stuff. And so, yeah, make sure you guys check out David's channel. He's got some really cool videos. He's got some neat shooting videos, a little bit of everything. Good variety over there. I really do enjoy it. And, you're well spoken in the videos. You do a great job with them. They're a lot of fun to watch. So get over to David Bowling's channel. Clover Tax making a request. He says, can you link me on Facebook? So, Clover, you want me to join you on Facebook? Is that what you want? Just go ahead and put that in the chat over there. I'm kind of bouncing between a couple different windows, Clover, and I'll take care of that for you. All right. Oh, Vanessa Kitty's with us now, too. Black Cat Outdoors. Sean Ponnery's joined in. Rich White's with us. Texas Blades in the house. And Tacos and French Fries. Stephen Dawkins, in case I missed you guys. Gun Snob and Sketchy Roll. All right. So, moving on. All right. One last person. AWAG, are you back?
Yep, I'm here. My computer has unbricked itself. So
Good deal.
Yeah.
There were two of you a minute ago.
Yeah, I know.
My cat wants a little too much attention this morning. She keeps walking over the computer tower where she's going to shut it off and then we're going to go black. So if that happens, it's the cat. It's not me. So AWAG, new on the channel. You put some really cool shooting rifle videos up last week. What else is new for the channel?
Well, I got a few things in the I guess in the works. Got my hands filled a little bit here. I'm in the middle of building 2 AKs. I have a Romanian PSL that I'm trying to piece together, and I have a my newest addition is the Yugoslavian Zastava M76, which is an 8mm Mauser, quote unquote, sniper rifle. And my hands still continue to smell like cosmoline from that because it's like caked in it. I mean, if you guys
hot water, man, simple green and hot water. It's all you got to do.
If you guys are like Mosin people and you got to get your fix for like that cosmoline smell, like just pick up some sort of Yugoslavian parts kit and they're just covered in it.
It's like they just dunk them in before they throw them in the plastic.
Pretty much. I mean, this kit is actually really, really nice. Although it doesn't come with the receiver stubs, which I'm kind of upset with because I need the bullet guide, and nobody makes a M76 bullet guide, so it won't feed properly if I don't have that. So I'm actually outsourcing to somebody that's on an AK forum to actually make them, but it's a little like 1 inch by 1 inch piece of like hardened steel, and that's it, and it's like $50. So that's probably like the most expensive thing, like size wise.
Okay.
I have. But other than that, I now have an Instagram. I got my Instagram back up because I kind of wanted to look at all the awesome pictures and see what people are doing. I have my Twitter at awag1000. You can tweet at me. I don't know. I don't care. And I have my YouTube channel. Check that out. I'm also on GunTube, which I really haven't posted anything. So, and I'm on gun channels. So,
cool. All right. Real quick, Clover. Hopefully, I got you linked up over there on Facebook. Real quick. So, AWAG, why don't you just go over to Classic Firearms and just go buy one of those $3,000?
Why on earth would you suggest that?
So how wrong is Classic Firearms with that item that they're selling with their description? Are they being honest in the description or not? Because we'll get into our first topic.
They're being very honest in the description, but
okay.
PSLs that they're selling are way, way too expensive.
I mean, you can basically buy an actual Russian Dragunov for that price, can't you?
You can go, yeah, you can get a really beat up either Chinese Tiger or a Russian, an actual SVD for around those prices.
Okay, they're asking 3Gs, and they're still in stock, ironically enough.
Yeah, because nobody wants to pay that, because you can go on Gunbroker and buy one that's been lightly used that comes with 5 magazines for like $1,200.
You know, there's going to be a few people that are going to snag one because they're not going to know any better. They're going to think, oh, it's that gun I've always wanted. Oh, yeah. This is in Call of Duty. I got $3,000 sitting around, right?
If you guys are on Instagram, Recreator Blanks, which is actually a company that makes stamped receivers for AKs. They're in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. They're right across the bridge from me. They have a picture of I think one of their new PSL receivers, just the front end of it. They have it compared to an actual Cougar or Kigar or however the hell you pronounce it. And their receivers are like almost twice as thick, and these receivers that come from Romania, they are like all wavy and they're twisted and they're just not good looking. So they say that they're going to have their PSL receivers out by the end of the year. And for those of you that that don't know, for $3,000 you can get all the tooling needed to build an AK, multiple AKs, if you don't break parts like I do. And you can build a PSL that will far exceed the quality that you get from one from and I'm not busting on Classic, but I just honestly think that their price is a little too high.
I don't understand. I mean, I know they're business and they're in it to make money, but at a point it's like, okay, this is just an obscene amount. It's almost not immoral, but man, they're a business. They can charge what they want. But it's like, okay, you start talking $500, $600 Mosins. It's like, what do you guys? And I know you're kind of catering to a desperate crowd at this point that's willing to pay those prices.
I know, but I mean, I could understand paying $3,000 if it's a real IOR scope, or if it comes with like 5 magazines. But these are some of these are like Russian PO or the PSO scopes, and they're not exactly like number match sometimes. And it only comes with 1 magazine. Okay. That's what kind of set me off, is it only came with 1 magazine.
Yeah.
Speaking of magazines, Apex, what is it? Apex Gun Parts has PSL magazines for like $75. So I'm happy. And they've got like a huge shipment of them. So
yeah.
But
all right. Well, it is what it is, man. Real quick, hey, Clover, I did send you a link if you want to join us, and I also friended you over on Facebook, so you should be good now, buddy. So feel free to click on that link in your Gmail, and you can join us if you want to, Clover. All right, so I think we'll just go ahead and jump right into it.
Travis? Travis, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Happy birthday, Marines.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Happy birthday to the Marine Corps. Excellent.
Yeah, I actually embarrassed myself this morning because Google lied to me and said 242, and it's not 242. It's 243.
It might have had last year's message from the commandant. Every year, the commandant of the Marine Corps sends out a birthday message, and on base they've got a ceremony where they've got a big cake and they have the youngest Marine present and the oldest Marine present, and it's just a traditional thing. They'll do it on ship if you're deployed overseas, or in country if you're over there. So
yeah, a Marine buddy of mine texted me about 4 seconds after I posted that. He's like, "It's 243, dude."
Hey guys, I'm gonna, if you can, I went ahead and sent Clover a link just through Gmail. I'm assuming that's how he wants to join us.
He said he could not get to his email earlier in the chat.
I don't know how I can. I'll try to text him one. So
Facebook message or text him, one or the other.
Could you send him a link? Okay. Well, I don't have easy access to get to the link to copy it from the phone because I'm running all of it through a computer. I'll see what I can do. We'll try to get that running for him and see if I can get it sent over to him. I might be able to send it through Facebook Messenger. So, okay. So let's go and go right into this first topic today. And again, you know, we don't really talk about topics that are too controversial, and we're not trying to rag on anybody, but this topic came from Jim, and I think it's a good one to discuss. All right. I think it's something where, I don't know, it's a new one and an interesting one, and I never thought about this one. So Jim, I'm calling this one FFL Post Sale Responsibility. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one up to you to start it up, and then we can all chime in. So tell us where this is coming from, and you can mention whoever you want to mention or not mention, and we'll go from there. So what's up, bud?
So I had a social media discussion, like I tend to do, with a rather well-known trainer. I don't know if we want to mention this man's name or not, but it's not really relevant.
Okay.
I agreed with about 90% of what he had to say, because what he was basically saying was, if we as the gun community don't take better responsibility for our own training, our own gun safety, our own proper storage, etc., that people will get laws passed to do it, try to do it for us. And there's a lot of truth in that, right? But
yeah.
I think the two things that bothered me was, one, he said we probably shouldn't try to resist that. And my statement there was, yeah, I get what you're saying, but a lot of these people who try to push these kind of laws aren't necessarily coming at us in good faith, in my opinion. I don't know how the panel feels about that. And the other was, one of the subtopics that came up, and this is leading into this discussion, is in this sense of policing our own. It was stated that FFL should take a much more active role in determining the level, especially with someone they identify as a new shooter, of training, of overall sense of, are you going to handle this gun properly, store it properly, do you have a safe at home, etc., before I transfer this gun to you. And again, I get what he's saying, but I'm not really sure we want to start really trying to require FFLs to do that level of policing of people they're selling guns to.
Can I jump in real quick before I have to jump off the chat?
Absolutely.
I just, the first thought in my mind is, I would be all for that if hardware stores were required to train people how to use hammers or power tools. If auto manufacturers were required to train people better about how to not get into a car wreck. If beer companies were required to give people training on not drinking and then getting behind the wheel.
I mean, about my last chainsaw,
are we required to, at what point do we take responsibility for ourselves and stop blaming everybody else for what I did wrong?
Well, that was kind of my thought on it, was, and they actually mentioned a car dealer going over, one of the people, this wasn't the professional trainer, but one of the people in that thread mentioned car dealers go over features of your car with you and show you the safety features and whatnot. And my thought was, yeah, but what you're asking FFLs to do is more along the lines of teach you to drive or verify.
Yeah, I have never had an FFL refuse to show me any of the features on a gun if I ask technical questions.
Right.
So that ain't any different than when you pick up a car and the dealership says, have you had a backup camera on your car before? No? Well, this is how it works. They don't get in there and teach you how to drive like driver's ed, just like the gun store doesn't need to teach you, you know. So showing features, that's really not a, and I'm not saying about you, Jim. I'm saying about, you know, if this other person's trying to create an analogy, that's a poor analogy.
You know, but we're talking about like, okay, then the car dealer wants to know if you have a garage to store the car. Do you know how to drive? Do you have a license? Are you competent enough to drive this vehicle? Okay.
Right. Oh, this thing has 750 horsepower. Are you really up for this?
Some cars do, some uber high-end performance cars. You get a free weekend at a driving school if you buy it. It's not a requirement, but we're talking some real high-end cars. They do allow you to learn how to drive.
Yeah, it's part of the experience.
Yeah, so you don't kill yourself the first time you take it out. But again, just the idea of requiring this of FFLs, I mean, and then the liability is assumed with it. Let's say you do those things as an FFL, and that person goes out and shoots themselves or shoots somebody else accidentally. And then it comes back on you to prove that you took the person through the proper instruction. And all the person has to say is, no, he did, and I bought the gun and walked out of the store. Then you open yourself up to liability and more regulation, which is the last thing we need for FFLs.
Well, that's what it sounds like to me, that the angle is a lawsuit angle. Just like if, somebody hurts themselves at the local, sports stadium, you're not going to sue the concession stand guy who spilled the beer that you slipped on. You're going to sue the football team. You always, if I go out and I commit a crime with my firearm, you can sue me and get nothing because I have nothing. But if you can sue the company that I bought my firearm from, they've got more money, and that's a good way to get one more person out of selling firearms because you're going to yank their license.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the number of FFLs that have already gotten out of the game, or just the less number of FFLs we have now versus the 90s, the numbers are down hardcore from what I've seen in the statistics I've seen. And we don't want to add more regulation to these people. I mean, it's not there. You already fill out the questionnaire. I think if that's something that's going to happen, it would probably come as a hands down state law or state regulation, like certain countries regulate how you store your firearms and your ammo. I don't want that at all. Okay, I'm just saying, but if it would happen, it would probably go that route. And then it could be shifted to the FFLs, but I think it would be more of a state regulation where you have to have this before you can buy, like in California, don't you have to take a class before you can buy a firearm? I don't know if it's just for a handgun or just a long gun or whatnot. For just a second, guys, I want to stop the discussion to let Clover go ahead and introduce himself. Clover just joined us here. Clover Tax down in Tulsa. Hey, Clover, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, guys. What's happening?
Hey, so what's up, man? What are you doing? Are you already
I would have jumped in, but I wasn't sure what the topic was, so.
Well, we were starting off. Jim had mentioned this topic. He's having a discussion with a fairly prominent person in the gun industry, gun training industry, as to whether or not there should be any sort of like pre-post requirements for FFLs before the gun leaves the store, going beyond the questionnaire you may have to fill out, the application before you buy the gun, requirements on safe use and practice for a new gun owner, storage requirements and stuff like that. That stuff should be verified by the FFL before it leaves the store. Jim, am I right about that?
Yeah, and it wouldn't be necessarily on a legal basis.
Okay.
The suggestion was the FFL should basically choose to operate this way. And it's all in the name of police our own before we get policed. So like I said, I get where that's coming from, and I get that this is the point of view of a trainer who wants everybody to have training, and so do I. But
there's been a lot of preemptive things that's happened in the firearm industry over the years. Design of handgun cases is one that comes to mind. The whole handgun or firearm lock situation was completely voluntary. That actually sprung out of some pre-94, so was it 92 maybe, legislation, where Andrew Cuomo was actually looking into pushing and doing some stuff. And the firearms industry said, look, instead of them passing these regulations requiring us to do X, Y, and Z, why don't it just makes sense to put a lock in. I mean, what's a $2 lock to throw in with your guns, And then we're showing that we're making an effort. We're concerned about safety. We want you to have a way to lock that firearm up, and it's keeping it out of the hands of regulation at the same time. So, I don't have a problem with preemptive strike. I don't have a problem with people pushing, for training and
except that they don't quit.
Yeah. So, David, what's it take for you to get your gun out of the gun store before you can take it home? Started with the gun lock. What did it turn into, David?
Okay, first, you have to wait 8 days. You go in, and whether it's through an FFL or whether you buy it from the store. And by the way, every time I've went into any gun store ever in my life and asked about a gun, the first thing the guy behind the counter says is, "What are your applications?" So if I went in to buy a bazooka, and I wanted to squirrel hunt with it, they're not going to sell me a bazooka. Anyway. So you go, and after you fill out your application, you go back 8 days later and you pick up your firearm. The firearm cannot leave the store without some type of chamber lock in it. And a chamber lock can either be something that goes down through the muzzle and you screw like open and these wings open so you can't get it out of the barrel, or there's like a little dummy bullet that you put down inside the chamber and rack the slide, and it locks the slide in place. So that way you can't fire the gun.
Is that state regulation, or is that
that is as far as I know, that's a state regulation. You cannot leave the store in Maryland with any firearm, any handgun. Rifles are different. The firearm that you would classify as a handgun, whether it be revolver or AR pistol, anything like that, has to have a chamber lock in it.
Yeah,
and they all cost $20, $30, $40, whatever the deal is. No matter what your chamber is, you have to have it. So, for instance, if you buy a 9mm, you can buy one lock, or you can borrow a lock. You can borrow one from your friend or whatever, but you have to have one for each chamber. Wednesday, I'm going to go pick up another 9mm, and I already have a lock for that, so that's good. But when I go to pick up a 380, now I have to buy a 380 lock.
Well, is the lock that comes with the firearm not good enough, or are you talking about when you buy a used firearm?
No, any whether it's used or new, any handgun has to have what's called a chamber lock in it, or a bore lock. The regular chain with the key does not count. That's not good enough.
Okay, well, somebody's lost their ever-loving mind on that.
Well, and also the problem is, when I bought my first handgun, it was the SR40, and the guy at the store sold me a bore lock, the one that you stick down the barrel. The problem comes in, once that bore lock is in there, it doesn't fit in the box anymore. And you can't carry it out of the store unless it's in a box.
So you have to cut a little space out for the bore lock to poke out at the end of the box with a knife?
No, he'll conveniently sell you a large pistol case, right?
The guy at the store was nice to me, and he actually let me borrow a bigger case for my first one. The second one I got, the second two pistols I got the inside the chamber lock, so it doesn't make the gun any bigger. But you're right. That's right. You can't leave the store without the gun in the box, and you can't leave the store without the barrel lock in. So now you got to buy a bigger box.
You know, the whole point behind all this is it starts with one little thing, and like Tony said, they don't know when to stop. It starts with a gun lock being tossed in, maybe optional from the manufacturers or required, and then it could eventually lead to something like that, which is what we don't want. The idea is, it doesn't even need to be that way. I mean, it's ridiculous. What is it going to prevent? What's it going to stop? You know.
Well, let's stop playing the pronoun game for a minute, because I like to be specific about things. They're not going to stop.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? Are we talking about the FFLs love these regulations and they're pushing it, or are we? Because that's what it's sounding to me like. These FFLs are able to sell a bunch of extra garbage, so that the FFLs in the states are actually in cahoots with the, libtards that are
because they can mark up the mandatory items and make a profit off of it. Maybe that, or they just they're not organized enough together to pool the resources to fight it. If they're trying to fight it on an individual level, they probably don't have enough money to do it. So maybe they're just not organized.
By they, I specifically mean the anti-gun contingent in this nation.
And
FFLs may be willing to take advantage of the situation, but they're not the problem.
Well, and I think that's where I went with my thinking in this discussion was, no matter, we can put all the voluntary self-regulation and self-policing on our FFLs, on our own community, on our neighbor at the range, our son-in-law, whatever. And I don't think that the anti-gun community, for lack of a better term, is going to take that in good faith and say, oh, well, we can just leave these guys alone. They're policing themselves.
Well, what's interesting is
but nothing's going to make. Here's the thing: the anti-gunners are a very, 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 I can't say it enough times, small portion of this country. And so, the reason you don't do reasonable things and do proactive safety measures and that sort of things to appease anti-gunners, you do that to appease the middle of the road, common sense thinking people. That's where that comes from. It's to say that we do these things to cater to the anti-gunners, I think there's a bit of untruth to that. It's more placating to there are common sense. I know people say common sense gun laws, right? And I agree. There's really no such thing as that. However, there are common sense safety measures. There are common sense safety protocols.
Yeah.
Certainly there are. Teaching them in school.
Exactly. No, agreed. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, we should absolutely do those things. I think the question here, we should absolutely do those things. We should absolutely train to the degree that, I think the professional trainer you may talk to would want you to train far in excess of what is actually needed for your foundational gun safety and foundational competence, right? And that's fine if they want that, and if people want that. But so I think we should do all those things, and I think we should do them willingly and even enthusiastically. But I guess with FFLs, I don't know how far we should push FFLs to kind of be the cop for the gun purchaser,
But Jim, have you ever noticed, at least on YouTube, who's the group that pushes for mandatory training or belittles you if you don't have training more than any other group?
I was just going to say the same thing.
The pro trainers. People who run training institutes. It's the people who sell training. They do it on the side on the weekend, or they've got a business doing it, or they have a YouTube channel, or whatever it is. They're making money off of training. The people I hear the most saying you have to have training or you're a moron if you don't have training are the people who are selling it. Now, that's not to say that some of the people have gone to it or some of the people that don't know anything about guns and are getting into it and feel that they have to have it because they didn't grow up with it or they didn't study it or they didn't learn on their own, whatever it is. And because they had to get it, well, then everybody's got to have it. And then it's not good for the community when you have a certain segment pushing for it because they're either making money off of it because they assume that because they lack the knowledge or experience that everybody must do. And it's not
selling out the American public. They're selling out our 2A rights when they want to push for some sort of regulation or push for an idea of required mandatory training.
I think good training should be available if you want it.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a firearm safety in school. You could do it in a short amount of time. You don't have to make it like a 1 semester class, although I would have got an A in that one. But it's just, it's common sense is when you talk to the kids about sex or drugs in school, right?
Yeah,
they've got to, you got to sign a waiver saying we're having sex ed and blah, blah, blah. Why can't they just do the same thing? Send a waiver home going, hey, we're going to have a cop come in and talk about this sort of thing. And how hard is that, really?
What scares me, though, is, okay, then we open up that idea to the curriculum, and I would hope that the curriculum would not be anti-gun. It would be pro-safety, but not anti-gun, because you really got to watch, okay, where are they going to get that material from? They'll find some .org out there that has all these great suggestions for firearm safety in the home, and it's actually funneling money to the antis from the money that gets donated to it. So it's like, when it comes to curriculum, man, it's a very...
The NRA would do it.
Yeah,
I know, and that's what I was thinking.
Your state organizations would do it as well, and they already do it. Now, I do agree that law enforcement, there needs to be a law enforcement present there when it's being done, and the reason for that is the optics. No other reason. The law enforcement officer should not interject their political opinion or anything else, but I do believe that maybe have a couple of officers present while that's going on. And that's just one of those measures that's going to make parents or, students or whatever feel a little more comfortable that this is legit, this is above level, but to see law enforcement approve of, these people coming and speaking. And I've seen it happen. I've seen school districts that have, and I've even had 4-H kids that's done it. So that, the state organization comes in, works with the school district and goes in and they put on a presentation.
Now, I just want to say this real quick for anybody that thinks that, no, we don't need that kind of thing going on in schools. We do, guys. I'm going to tell you as an educator, I got some fantastic parents, and then I got some parents that either can't or won't or don't teach their kids how to tie their own shoelaces, how to read, how to write, how to communicate properly, manners. But we are raising kids, like it or not. And maybe we need just a little segment of the health curriculum on firearm safety. I'm not opposed to it, so the kid realizes this is a tool. This could be a dangerous tool. Just because I'm teaching my children firearm safety doesn't mean that my son's best friends know how to do that too. And they might come over. And sure, my boy might be, hey, we're not playing with the guns. And sleep over, people fall asleep. Hey, let's go play with daddy. Let's go play with this rifle. I mean, and these things would be locked up in my home if I had kids, right? But I'm just saying that, and I think we need some sort of just basic gun safety in schools. Then I'm not trying to push a curriculum or agenda or anything. I just think that just seeing how kids are and seeing what they don't get when they come to us, you know, what they know about guns is what they see in movies, on music videos, and in video games. And it does an awful job of instructing kids about gun safety. Look at kids that shoot themselves on these Facebook videos. You know, they got the You Lackin' challenge that's going on right now. Those kids obviously have not had any kind of firearm safety, or they wouldn't be walking around pointing guns at each other saying, yo, you lacking, bro, drawing guns at each other on Facebook. So if you don't know what that is, look up the You Lackin' challenge, and you'll see what kids are actually doing these days.
That makes me mad.
And I'm surprised more people have been shot from it. A kid pulls a gun at me and says, you lacking, and I don't know what you lacking means. I might draw on them and fire, and it could be a kid. So
that's definitely the flip side of the whole argument of, you know, where the guy's right. In many ways, that's what people see as the public face of the gun community, and we certainly need to be.
And again, guys, I'm not trying to push a program. I'm not trying to push an agenda. It would be nice if the health classes would have just a chapter on basic gun safety. So when that kid gets it when they're little, they have this idea in their head that a gun is a dangerous tool if that's what you make it. And again, I'm not trying to push a series or a .org. I want people to understand that I'm not trying to, but I mean, hopefully you guys would maybe see that and agree with me on that, you know.
Let me show a quick picture. And this is the packaging for my, I don't know if you guys can see it. This is the packaging for the internal chamber lock. You see Grandma in the background over here, and the cabinet drawer open, and little Junior's pointing the gun at his face. I don't know if you guys are seeing that okay. But
yeah, somebody ought to horsewhip that.
Well, that's the optics for their safety thing, which is this is the little
confident, and the kid is not supervised apparently.
That's the little dummy that you sit down inside your barrel, and then you lock it in place with this thing, so that way you can't rack it. But there's some optics for you right there, and that's the agenda that they're pushing for safety, is that Grandma is so derelict in her duties that Junior can get the gun out of this little cabinet drawer in the kitchen while she's washing dishes or making breakfast or whatever, and he's going to shoot himself in the face. So you should have this in your gun at all times.
Well, it happens. I mean, ones of kids a day die because somebody ain't paying attention to their firearms and what their kids are. Ones of kids. So it's an epidemic, man.
Yeah, and that's the shock value. That's why they're using that is because they want to show you the most extreme thing for that shock value.
But on the flip side, they should show a picture of mom texting and driving with two kids in car seats in the back of their SUV or something, and go and, you know, comparing how many kids die from an irresponsible parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle or whatever it is in car accidents, because we know distracted driving has been causing car accidents more so since people started texting and driving and that sort of thing.
So, Jim, I guess I want to ask you. Well, let's go back. Let's take it back to zero here, Jim. What was your defense? What was your opinion, if you don't mind sharing it with us, about how you felt about this post pre-sale, questioning? You know,
I really think it boils down to. I guess I get the optics of what he's saying, but I really think it boils down to personal responsibility. And while he's not wrong that everybody should take personal responsibility for their ability to use firearms reasonably well and master the safety rules and bother to store it properly, you know, and that doesn't require a $2,000, $2,500 safe.
Yeah.
But, you know, some measure of storing it properly where it's not immediately accessible to children.
Yeah.
Some basic level. And I don't think that requires extensive training.
It's called common sense, but
right. Yeah.
And, you know, if kids might get that when they're younger, they might have that armed in their minds when they get out into the adult world because they've seen it once already. You know,
firearms safety is basically 4 simple rules, along with maybe a 5th of lock it away when you're not using it, when it's not on your person. So you know, and I think those are great to do, and I think we should be doing those and preaching them publicly. But I think if we start expecting every academy and Walmart to be those cops. I think that's pushing it too far. And
Well,
maybe it's in the
my
name
own
of
state
object.
has a hunter safety requirement. You have to have taken hunter safety before you can get your hunting license or habitat stamp, or you can't even go hunting unless you've got your hunter safety card. So anybody that was born after January of 1977 has to take hunter safety up until I think maybe the age of 50 or something like that. I ended up having to take it. I didn't start deer hunting until I moved out here. I didn't grow up in a deer hunting family, and I ended up having to take hunter safety with a bunch of my students, which was kind of cool. But at the same time, I had to do like 12 or 16 hours of training. It was free. It was run through the NRA. It was fantastic. But I mean, I could have easily purchased my rifle and sighted it in and gone out in the woods and shot a deer. I didn't need, in my opinion, hunter safety to teach me how to responsibly use a gun, because I've been a gun owner for 15, 20 years at that point, you know, so it didn't way back then. So,
Right.
you know, I just thought it was crazy. I mean, and those kids, and I'm glad we have a program. I just don't think it needs to be a forced mandate. It was cool that a lot of the parents were taking it with their sons and daughters. It was neat to see them there. And it was a great program. But you know, I went to go get that deer tag, and they said, "Okay, well, what's your hunter safety number?" And I said, "What are you talking about? You got to have your hunter safety card. You're born after January of '77." I go, "What do you mean?" I had no clue, because I didn't realize there was a regulation for it. I knew how to hunt. I knew how to shoot things. I knew how to hit a target. I knew how to take care of a deer. But I was like, "Well, what?" So then I'm having to take it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a forced mandate. That was really inconvenient for me to try to get that in with my regular work schedule, you know.
Obviously, you didn't know how to hunt according to the state of Nebraska.
Well, I knew how to hunt animals. I didn't know the regulation of acquiring the license. I just thought, go to the store and buy it, you know.
Let's be careful not to mix hunting and our Second Amendment rights. When you're talking about hunting, you're talking about conservation of game animals. You're talking about ethics. You're talking about environmental factors. You're talking about a lot of different things. It's not just or at least the program here. I mean, I had to take that too and sit in the classroom, literally a high school ag room with a bunch of 12-year-olds or something. Yeah, it kind of sucks because I fell like 2 years short of the deadline or something. But you know, it was way more. Gun safety was a very, 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 very small portion of.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. When I took hunter safety in Georgia, it was more about the regulations and conservation, like what Clover was saying. It wasn't really. They wouldn't even allow a gun in the school. I took it in a school, like it was after hours in school, and they didn't allow the gun in the school for them to tell us. You know, they described it. But it was like what Clover's saying, it's more about conservation and regulation. It's a different kind of safety. If you don't know the kind of gun safety you need in your home, handling it while you're cleaning it or putting it away after coming home from the range or that sort of thing, or loading it up before you go conceal it, if you don't have that safety down, then you might want to get that before you go to hunter safety.
Yeah, and ours was at a VFW club, so we had actual firearms in the class. We learned how to cross fences and all that stuff. But go ahead, Clover.
With the FFL thing that we're talking about, I know people that have gotten, they've gotten beside themselves because I know a bunch of FFLs, got a bunch of friends that have, are FFL, and I see it all the time that somebody's griping, and I just usually don't say anything, but I'm a third party in the conversation or something, but somebody's complaining because they wouldn't sell them a gun. Oh, I can buy, I'm legal to buy and all this other stuff. So where does the line, since we're talking about, governments putting regulations on the FFLs to do this or do that, where is the line drawn for the FFL as a private business to go, you know what, I just don't want to sell to this dude for whatever reason, right to refuse service, in other words.
Well, don't they just have that as a business in general? Can't any business say we refuse to sell to you? They're not obligated, right?
They're supposed
with the
to,
exception of like an emergency room.
But then again, if you refuse to bake a wedding cake, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I've never heard stories about it, but I wonder if FFLs have refused.
I don't think the left-wing media would get behind a story where a gun store refused to sell to somebody because they hate gun stores and they hate people who want to buy guns and stuff. They'll get behind somebody who won't want to sell a wedding cake to people of a certain background and then claim, religious, which, that's a whole nother thing. So I get where you're going, Clover, but the big thing about that was it was blown up by the media. This isn't something where the media is even they're going to be like, yay, victory for us, film at 11.
Yeah.
But as an FFL, I've always been told that they've got, if somebody seems sketchy or seems fishy, because think about it. I mean, there's shootings that go on in this country, and the people bought the firearms legally. right? So, they may have been having mental problems. They may have been showing weird signs. And, is that FFL going to be the guy that just sells to anybody and everybody as long as they pass that background check? Or if that guy's acting weird or something, they go, I think I'm going to push this guy, shove this guy on down the road, let him buy from somebody else or whatever. I'm not.
And I'm sure that happens all the time. I think.
That's a good question, though, to pass around the room, though. Have any of us ever been at the gun show or in a gun store and somebody's filling out a 4473 and they seem sketchy? I've got to think back and try to, and I don't mean, they maybe they look a little bit too much like, like when you go to the gun show and some of the guys are decked out a little bit. This isn't Comic-Con, but some people think it is. I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about where you were standing up to the counter looking at a gun and somebody's buying one and you're getting a bad vibe. Does anybody in the panel, can they recall that?
Well, I can recall that because it happened to me just now. My local, I don't buy it off the internet, and I usually don't, if I can't pick it up and carry it out, I usually don't buy it. But one of our friends here in our gun community had a pistol for sale, so I bought it from him, and he shipped it through the FFL. I went to my local gun store to use that as the FFL, and the biggest sign in the store right over top of the register in big bold letters says, "We reserve the right to refuse service to anybody for any reason." And I didn't know anything about using the FFL, so I'm asking the lady behind the counter a bunch of questions. Well, she's not feeling good that day, so she's being really argumentative and combative with me. And I just straight up asked her, I said, "I don't know why you're being so aggressive with me. I didn't do anything to you." And I looked up real quick as our back and forth started to get a little bit more intense. And I looked at the sign again. And when I saw the sign again, it popped into my head, "Shut your mouth and be a gentleman." So I shut my mouth and totally backed off of everything and apologized and, took because I didn't want her to tell me, "Get out of here." Because she has the big bold sign right there says we have the right to refuse service to anybody.
Yeah.
And I called her on a bad day, and she could have very well told me to get out of her store.
But take it a step further, because the situations I'm talking about were these people, I know FFL dealers that are, I don't want to say denied, but yeah, in a way, they refuse to sell. But, let's say that, it's not even where they go in to buy necessarily the gun and they're acting sketchy. But you've got a guy, you're an FFL dealer, you got a guy that walks in, that the guy, he's not a convicted felon. He's never been convicted in anything. But the law is he's always pushing the boundaries, and the law's always picking him up for something. He's always on that ragged edge of actually getting convicted and going to jail. He just never has for whatever reason, right? He drinks. That they're into drugs or whatever. I mean, at what point does the FFL, I guess, have that responsibility, because they know people in the community or in the town to go, you know what? I don't, he may pass the background check, but I'm not going to give him the opportunity. Listen, like I said, I'm going to send him down the road.
Clover,
I don't want the responsibility of that.
They also have to look too at what this individual might be doing there, as far as if they don't get the sale, whether they got denied on a 4473 or the FFL refuses to sell. Now, I took some time to think about it, and I do remember a time where somebody sketchy was in there to buy a Tech 9. It was when I was buying my M9, so that was back in 2000, and it was at a very big gun store, and it was near the end of the day. I was working a lot of hours, and I had to go in there pretty close to closing time, so there was hardly anybody in the store, and there were two guys that were trying to buy a Tech 9, and they would not sell them the gun because they couldn't prove that they were U.S. citizens. And they started to get belligerent with the guy behind the counter, and they started threatening and all this. And I was thinking, what if they're already armed and they're going to take this gun out of this store one way or the other? Well, everybody in the store open carried. They all started getting into position where they weren't going to hit each other with crossfire, and putting their hands on their guns and slowly, carefully moving into position. Eventually, these guys didn't win the argument, and they turned around and walked out of the store. But they were ready for that. So on the flip side of it is, I'm not saying you should sell it, because you got to be worried that they might commit a crime right there in your store. But I the only time I can recall after thinking about it for a while where somebody sketchy, they stopped that sale. They did not. I mean, the guy had a roll of cash in his hand and everything, and they did not take that sale. If anything, they were more concerned about their safety and public safety. So there are responsible FFLs out there. They just, when you got people talking about stuff like this, it just gives the retail industry for firearms a bad rap.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between the big box stores and your local gun shop too. Your local gun shop is going to be more in tune usually with the community and the people around. And if they get somebody that comes into their shop that they've never seen before in their life, and then that person, they get to talking, and that person's from 3 or 4 counties over, potentially hundreds of miles away or something, that's a flag to them, and they're probably not going to sell to that guy. They're probably going to make up some crap about, we just don't sell to anybody that's over so many miles away or something like that, right? Whereas a big box store, I don't think a big box store gives 2 craps, and most of their employees, unfortunately, don't give 2 craps. So I think it would be interesting what few I say few because it happens more than you think, but firearms that are obtained legally and then used in a crime, it'd be really interesting to see what the ratio of where those actually came from, whether it was local gun shop or big box.
Yeah, and I think from the perspective of what I was dealing with, I think these are all good examples of where an FFL should exercise discretion, right? But rolling it back to the question at hand, I really think this was a matter of, this guy's buying his first pistol and he's all excited, and maybe he just got his license to carry 3 weeks ago, so he comes in, these guys can tell when this person's buying their first gun. That's, I think, where the suggestion was made that in those situations, these FFLs should be, pretty active and pretty demanding about making sure that you're selling to someone who meets a set of minimum standards. And I guess that's where I wonder, why would we task an FFL with that instead of allowing for personal responsibility?
They might make those suggestions anyway because it'll help make a sale. Hey, do you want a nice hard case for this distorted? Do you have a gun lock for it? Do you have a gun safe for it? They might make those suggestions but a forced mandate? No, I don't think so. Because then it's going to open up to even more fun, right?
Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree with you, man. All right. Well, any final thoughts on the topic, guys? I think we've pretty much covered it in detail. I feel pretty good about it. What do you guys think? You're right.
I think, shut up, you infringed!
Dude, that's it right there. So when he lights it up that he's gonna let it rip, man. He's gonna let one off the chain. So
when Night Strike goes to the store to buy a new gun, they give him a Israeli bandage too. So safety, man, safety.
Oh,
he's got a point. It doesn't say anything about proper fucking training or storage or locking the things up
or common sense.
In their arms.
And Jim, the thing is, we really got to watch some of the industry leaders because they've got a business they want to maintain and promote, and they might think they have good intentions or know better, but they got their business they want to keep going, and they got to push for an agenda themselves. And I don't agree with that at all. But,
I'm not against them having a business and them doing their thing. It's just I'm against them trying to over push it, and when they over push it and saying, "Oh, it needs to be required, everybody's got to have it." Then that gets to a point because sometimes there is a point where someone only has enough money to either buy a gun or take a training course. They shouldn't take a training course instead of buying a gun.
Yeah.
Well, Travis, when you say industry leader, if you're talking about the individual mom and pop FFLs or that sort of thing, oh yeah, no, the people in training are going to push training. That's their bread and butter. And I have my own feelings about that. Now, as far as the manufacturers saying stuff, I can tell you in the auto industry, the guys who run these car companies, whether they're a supplier or they're the final manufacturer, These guys in suits that sit in a boardroom, they're not car guys. Everybody thinks they're all car guys and car. No, they're not. They're not at all. They're money guys. They might be from here. Their dad might have worked on the assembly line to put them through college, but they are money guys. The guys that are running these gun companies are money guys. So if they think that adding features to the gun that they sell, or advocating for training, or getting on this side or that side, or making a less dangerous gun, how the heck you can do that, whatever, will keep them in business or give them a better opinion in the public eye so they can sell stocks, they'll do it. Otherwise, they're not going to do anything that's going to cost them any more money. So it's either waver to public opinion to save the business, or flat out say no to save a buck. So it'll be interesting to see if, I've heard rumors about Smith & Wesson. I remember before where they got bought by that British investment company. So they now I don't know if it was an urban legend or not, but they purposely made the sights off on their guns so they weren't accurate or something. And then when they got bought back, that all changed and their quality went back. I've heard recently that they were talking about changing the name of the company because Smith & Wesson is just synonymous with all these guns that have been used. And there's a lot of scuttlebutt in the industry, and you can't always believe everything you hear. But I wouldn't be surprised if on the industry level, that if any of this stuff happens and they support it, it's simply to save face.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. So, all right. I think we'll go ahead and move on to our second topic here. And so, again, this is another heavily viewer-requested topic. These are all viewer-requested topics and panel-requested topics. The next one we're going to do is move on to 458 Socom, and we talked about 450 Bushmaster last week. I'm going to give you guys some information and data on 458 Socom, and then feel free to chime in. So I did some research on the round last night. I've been looking at it before. I was kind of interested in it because it's very, very easy to get into. Your 458 Socom, it's an 11.63 millimeter round. 50 AE is the parent case, but it is a longer case with a thinner, narrow rim. So you're not using the 50 Action Express brass directly, you're using a variant of it. Ballistics are comparable to a 45-70, depending on the gun you fire through and then your grain choice and so on. Just kind of as a difference between 458 Socom and 450 Bushmaster, what I've found, now again, you hand load your own ammo, customize your own ammo, you can make your ammo do whatever you want to. But in general, just grain for grain, 450 Bushmaster has better takedown power between 225 and 250 yards, and the sweet spot for 458 Socom is 150 yards or less. Because of the kind of the cartridge it is, 450 Bushmaster and 458 Socom can be used in certain states where you might not be able to shoot, an AR, use an AR, or use any kind of a certain type of round. It does open it up because you have a straight walled cartridge. Just talking about some ballistics here for 458 Socom. 250 grain soft point will shoot at around 2,150 feet per second. And out of the muzzle, it'll have 2,565 foot-pounds of energy to it. And I don't know if that's a 22-inch barrel or whatever they shot it out of. And I don't even know if you need a 22-inch barrel for 458 Socom to get the kind of velocity. You can shoot up to a 600 grain round with 458 Socom, which will have 1,000 feet per second of velocity and 1,336 foot-pounds of energy. And you can get, obviously, subsonic rounds for 458 Socom if you want to run it suppressed. Now, just real quick, a little bit about the history of 458 Socom. What it was is there was a task force Rangers meeting talking about the difficulty that the soldiers had neutralizing members of the opposing forces in Mogadishu during Operation Gothic Serpent. And at that point, word had gotten out that the military might be looking for a thumper round, a better one-shot takedown round for 150 yards or less. And so it looks like some guy named Marty Terweem of Tepu Jutsu designed the cartridge in 2000, and Tony Rumor of Tromix was contracted to build the first 458 Socom rifle in February 2001. So it's not a new round. It's been around for a while. Now, the advantages of 458 Socom is that it is 100% compatible with the M4 platform, which makes it really easy for those of us that have ARs and M4s to get into. You can use the buffer spring, GI magazines without any kind of modification. Let's see. And yeah, you can use the standard magazine well. Unlike 450 Bushmaster, you don't have to have a single stack follower. And let's see here. You're looking at a 20-round 5.56 NATO magazine will hold 7 458 SOCOM rounds and a standard 30-round magazine can hold 10. So that's kind of the percentages you're going to pull out of it. What do you guys think about 458 SOCOM? Have you ever looked into it or thought about it? I've got information on the weapons now I can share with you when we get there, but what are your thoughts on 458 SOCOM?
I've thought about it.
That sounds awesome otherwise.
I have a comment from the YouTube side. Moonbutt says, back to this, get a lever action in 4570. Next topic.
Well, maybe, but then again, I can go to Bear Creek and get an upper for $289, slap it on my hand.
Oh, no.
I can't get a 4570 lever action for under $300.
I almost, this last week, I almost bought a 458 SOCOM upper for an AR-15, and that's because it didn't have the bolt carrier group or the charging handle, but it was a complete upper, 458 SOCOM, 16-inch barrel for $167.
That's not bad, yeah, because Bear Creek will sell you. Bear Creek will sell you a complete upper for
there was a silver lining.
Yeah.
It was from Delta Team Tactical, and I decided, you know what, maybe I should do something else.
Never heard of them.
I would buy from Bear Creek. You have other options. Radical Firearms has one also that you can get. I'm not a big fan of their uppers. I've had trouble with the.
They're just as bad as Radical. That's why.
No, the Bear Creek would be a solid purchase. I think you'd be okay there. My Bear Creek, we have 3 Bear Creek ARs in the family. Never had issues.
I mean Delta Team Tactical.
Yeah. One of the kind of drawbacks to 458 SOCOM, like 4570, you're looking at $150 and $3 a round. It's not an inexpensive round to shoot. But again, somebody like me who's already got an AR, already has all the furniture, already familiar with the manual of arms, you get that upper, slap it on, put an optic on, and I've got a nice takedown rifle, a nice heavy, rifle I can use for 200-yard or less engagements. That's hopefully going to drop it within one shot. So chime in, guys.
If you already cast for 4570, it's handy too.
Yeah.
Save you some money.
The thing is from your description, man, it's not outperforming 44 Magnum in a 22-inch barrel rifle. So what the hell's the point?
Again,
semi-automatic suppressibility is huge.
The intention was for the military market. They needed something to drop human targets at 200 rounds or less because the 5.56 wasn't doing it in the kind of combat they were dealing with. And again, like Clover just said, subsonic, suppressed, potent round, no messing around kind of round. And it's just available to us. So,
Shorter barrel for optimal powder burn. I mean, you're looking at about 10-inch for optimal. I mean, you don't need that 22 or even that 16-inch with it. So, I mean, smaller profile. It's going to be a lighter rifle, typically. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at military application or something like that in particular.
But you have to think that in my particular application, I'd have to buy the whole gun because I don't have any ARs here at all.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
No, completely, Tony.
It's got to be a purpose-driven thing, and that's what my 458's purpose-driven. It's a silent pig thumper, man.
Yeah, that's another one is the hog. The feral hog hunting market loves that round. I mean, that's all you find. I don't know if there's any bolt action 458 SOCOMs out there yet.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
I couldn't really find any when I was looking around. I did find a ton of ARs, everybody from Radical to CMMG to Bear Creek Arsenal. Well, I mean, obviously the lower's an M4 lower, so it's not a big deal.
And that's fairly recent too, because you're right. Yeah. When Tepujitsu came out with that, Tromix was in on it, and then Rock River, I believe it was the first ones to actually license and do anything. Wilson Combat was the second. And for the longest, if it wasn't Tromix, Rock River, or Wilson Combat, you didn't have 458. And the reason I know that is because mine is all Wilson Combat upper. Because that was the only 3 at the time when I built mine that you could go with. Now, it's like you say, everybody and their dog makes them. And it's a lot easier to get. Ammunition is not only cost, but availability is going to be a big issue.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me. I reload by my brass. Starline, I think, is the only one
they make the brass
on it. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody else even makes factory brass for it. But
it's just Starline only, I believe.
There's very few. Black Butterfly, it's boutique market on the ammo. There's no white box Winchester or Remington UMC for it, for sure.
Now, there's something in all of that Clover just said that everybody out there ought to keep in mind. And that's that when he bought his, he had 3 options, and now everybody's doing it. Don't go out there and buy the newest, latest, greatest thing unless you're willing to throw a lot of freaking money away that you wouldn't have to a year later.
On the other side of that, Tony, is if people don't buy it, it'll die.
Well,
you'll have one company making that cartridge, one company making that platform, that gun, that whatever it is, and if there's not enough interest, you'll only have that one company making it, and the price will stay up. You won't have somebody make a different version of it, a different barrel length, a different action, a different. So if there's interest in it, they will. Other companies will go there and go, "Ooh, we want to make some money off this too," and then you get your variety. Yeah. So.
Well,
but I also see what you're saying, though. I mean, if they haven't worked the kinks out of it, you're stuck with a lemon, or you paid $900 and somebody else, 10 years later pays $500 because now everybody's making one. And
I get it. I mean, I went Wilson Combat, so it's not like I went Bear Creek or some cheaper brand. So first of all, you got that. Second of all, I got lucky, honestly, because. And I say I got lucky. Let me back up. I don't mean that in a morbid way, as fixing the sound. But I placed an order, Wilson Combat, for the kit. Came with the barrel, the gas block, the gas tube, the bolt carrier group, the bolt, and the muzzle or the flash hider, I believe. I had already bought the upper from Wilson Combat previously, but the kit was to put it together was back ordered. So. Anyway, I went ahead and I paid for it and ordered it. And they were like, "Oh, well, they should start shipping in 30 to 60 days," what Wilson Combat said. Well, in about 30 days, Sandy Hook happens. And we all know the story there. So it ended up being about 18 months before I ever even got my stuff to build that 458 upper.
Oh
However, my price was locked in because I'd already paid for it.
Okay.
So if you go on Wilson Combat right now, I got mine for about a third of what that kit's going for now.
The complete rifles around, aren't they $1,200 to start?
Yeah, I
was late last night when I was looking this up. Yeah,
it's on a Spikes lower with that's just got a mag full stock. It's not anything fancy, lower. Spikes lower for Spikes enhanced parts kit, I believe, in the lower. Might have a couple of little fancy accessories here and there, but it's not decked out by any means. And I might have $800 that whole rifle.
Yeah.
So I'm in it for the right money, regardless. I think that's more important is just being careful and making sure you pay, a reasonable price. I totally agree about jumping out there on the, being an early adopter. I did that with 300 Blackout too. I was an early adopter of 300 Blackout, so I'd already played that game a little bit.
Well, I wasn't pointing anything at you, man. I really wasn't.
No, we don't want no fighting with the leprechaun.
No, I just wanted to explain that.
No, that's fine.
I mean,
if you play it right. I agree with you, Tony, that you don't need to jump out there on a limb, but if you play the game right, sometimes it works out.
It's kind of like getting that new model car. It's the first year it comes out. Everybody wants it. It's in demand. It's in short stock everywhere. They are not offering any discounts on these things because they know they can make their money. So you wait and you get it a little bit later. And come to find out the first year they worked so hard to rush them into production because the demand was there that they got all kinds of recalls on it or something like that. On the other hand, in the first year, they put all the bells and whistles on it. And the second and third and fourth and fifth year, they said, we can take this option off and this option off and this and save some money in production. And nobody really wants this. So because you've got that first year model, yours is more collectible because you got the bells and whistles that they didn't have. You take a risk either way doing it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you say, well, what's the application? What's the point? Why not? I mean, if you can get yourself the upper, you just want to try it, and maybe that'll be a launch pad for maybe a nicer rifle down the road. I was looking at the Wilson Combat Recon model, and it's $2,250. It's a pricey little rifle, but like you said, Clover, you got in and got yourself a good deal, and you don't have to spend that kind of money. And the fact you can get into it for as low as $300 if you already have a lower, as high as whatever you want to spend. Yeah, why not give it a try? Maybe you want that good pig gun for close encounters through the brush, or you want that stout round for 150 yards.
The biggest why not, Travis? I think people have to. I get you. I mean, I'm a do you type guy.
Yeah.
But I seriously tell people on the 458 Socom to consider ammunition because if you drop $300 on an upper and you're like, you can find one box of ammo or something here, there, yonder that's $50 for a box of stupid ammo. You know, well, then you've done $300. You could have bought a handgun, a used handgun, or something for that kind of money that you could have got more enjoyment out of. So just be mindful and know that going in for sure.
To kind of point out the hypocrisy of what I said was when I bought my 1895 Marlin, I walked to the counter and I paid for it before it hit the store because they hadn't been able to get one for over a year. And I bought it before it got there.
Yeah.
So you didn't know when another one was going to come back in stock, so you jumped on it. The heck with the price.
Was that the GBL, Tommy?
Nothing wrong with that.
Cowboy.
Clover, real quick, got a question for you from the YouTube side. Calaveras 32 Special wants to know, what's your preferred projectile for the 458?
500 grain cast.
Okay, 500 grain cast round. Okay. I think that what the FTX tip rounds are no longer in production. Is that true for 458 Socom? Like you can't just go buy them new, or are they still in production?
I don't think so. I think they've changed those up.
Yeah, they might. And when it comes to Hornady bullets, I'm not always.
It's probably something similar.
Yeah.
Because they change names on stuff like
the
AMAX and the ZMAX and the this Max.
FTX,
ATX. Crap, man. It's the same crap.
Yeah.
The FTX and then the GMX. It's GMX, I think. Is what, GMX is solid copper, though, if I'm thinking correct. So I think they still make it. It's just a solid copper.
Okay. Hey, anybody else want to chime in on 458 Socom, or any thoughts or feelings or any ideas about it? I mean, like I said, you got a solid point about the ammo. You just can't. If I either have to order it or make the 80-mile round trip to Cabela's and go get it, man, it'd be a tough one, especially if I'm dropping $3 a round, $60 for a box of 20, or $50 for a box of 20. It's God, I don't know, man.
Just to answer Clover's question, it's an 1895 Cowboy with the 26-inch octagon barrel.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's why you had to wait.
Cool, man. So, hey, real quick, Clover, how's the scene in Tulsa right now before we go on to the next topic?
I've been standing here at the table, dude, so I don't know.
I know, we saw that. Why don't you, can you turn the camera on and show us what we have to offer people that stop by the Gun Channel's family table, which, by the way, guys, you need to get over to gunchannels.com and sign up if you have not. Get over there, guys. So Clover showed off the table a little bit. Do you guys have the donuts with the sprinkles again or not? Did you pull through and do that?
No, we don't have any. We don't have any donuts, but we've got water pistols here to give away to the kiddies.
Pew pew.
And they've got Eddie Eagle. Snob acquired some Eddie Eagle stickers, so we got a ton of Eddie Eagle stickers. And then this was G-Web's idea. I made it. It's a little card here, a little book.
That's cute.
Right? So it's got the G. And you open it up, and on the left, I don't know if you can see in there. Let me get the camera. But on the left side, it is the link to 4-H and the link to Eddie Eagle. On the right side is 3 main rules of gun safety, which is basically muzzle action trigger, right? And on the back, of course, shall not be infringed. Second Amendment.
Now they need to.
I approve.
For the kiddos.
That's what needs to get sent out to public schools, right there. There you go. That's how you teach the gun safety with the water pistol. Got some dum-dums.
We've got dum-dums.
Nice.
Then everybody's swag and gal swag. Obviously the Clover swag, Gun Swab. Gizzard got some stuff out here.
Now, just kind of give people a heads up watching this. Your Wi-Fi in the area where they host the gun show is very spotty, and the data can be strained because you've got thousands and thousands of people under the same roof on their phones. But we can see it pretty good, which is a good thing. Yep, we got the nice table set. Is that the same spot we were last year, kind of off to the left side towards the back? Same table.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Did I lose you?
I was just kind of breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same table.
Okay, cool. That's awesome, man. So what is the plan for today?
This may end up being a permanent home for us.
Yeah, just don't leave. Just stay there.
I hope.
Just leave your stuff there
till April. I mean every cycle. This may be our table from now on, as long as there's somebody coming.
Yeah.
And that would be handy because everybody knows where it's at now. So that could be a good thing.
Yep.
Well, with any luck, nobody will be in the hospital or being born in April.
Yeah,
this is true. This is true.
Maybe I'll be able to go. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's several. There's several. I tell you, Vandalistica is talking about next November coming.
Yep.
That's a long haul for him. So, but that's going to be.
He comes out. We are taking him to range day, man. We are going to take him to range day. We're going to show him a good time. I'll tell you what. Right now, man. That's it. He won't want to go home when we're done with him.
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
I'll adopt him. He can move in with us, and I'll sponsor a child. He can stay with us. This Vandal, who lives in a disarmed country called Australia, he desperately needs self-defense and an opportunity to live a free life.
We need to sponsor an Aussie.
You can sponsor an Aussie for $29.95
we need to sponsor an Aussie,
or
yes.
$32 Australian per month. He'll ensure that Vandal gets food, clothing, and a chance to go to the range every week. So please, sponsor a Vandal, won't you? And then they have Sarah McLachlan in the background, Eyes of an Angel will be playing, he's like crying and he has to hand the gun over. He's like, oh.
Travis.
The Eyes of the Angel.
Can you put him in a rusty cage?
What's that?
Can you put him in a rusty cage? Give him the puppy dog eyes?
Oh, dude, start off like he's on the plane. Looking up at you.
Take him to an Outback Steakhouse so he can go, what the hell is this?
Here you go. It's like slow
mo. Give him a bloomin' onion.
There you go. Exactly.
Hey, you guys, what's the temperature out there today?
It's snowing?
You talking about here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was. It's definitely freezing. I had some drinks in the back of my truck. I was able to pop the top on it and drink it, but I mean there was a big chunk of ice in it. So I don't know. I think it was like 30. What?
Yeah, 25 right now.
25 right now. Yes, what it says. 25 right now.
God, I'm glad I didn't go because it was so cold in the spring. It was.
Yeah. That's not inside. It's comfortable inside, obviously. But outside, it's miserable.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some other stuff.
If you guys hear any noise in the background, that's no big deal. It's just that's the thousands of voices of freedom in the background coming from Clover's broadcast right now.
Oh, I can mute too if I need to, but no, there's all.
They had friggin' record cold in the spring this year, which sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still well worth the trip. Anybody who ain't made it there should do whatever they can to get there. It's something to see.
At least once a year.
It's awesome, man. It's unreal. And we go back and watch our Caliber Corner, and I think we also did one over on Sandhill Shooters channel too on Post Tulsa Wrap Up, like 10 things you need to know if you're going to go to Tulsa. So Gary, why don't you go ahead and chime in a little bit? I know you've been a busy man out there, Gary. If we can get you to share with us a little bit how things are going for you. What's up, Gary?
The gizzard. Give him the bird.
The Tactical Rooster's with us.
Things are going pretty good. I've walked around the floor a little bit. I've got a couple interviews. Force got munitions when I first got here. And then I've interviewed Celtic holsters and a couple Kansas companies. I'd like to throw those out there. Now, Celtic I interviewed last year or earlier this last spring too. So I'm trying to hit up new products on the people I've hit in the past.
Okay.
Not so far, but they're starting to filter in. And they're kind of getting around slow, I think, because of cold weather or whatever, but they're getting in here.
Usually by noon, it's buzzing pretty good. There's a lot of buying and selling going on, and usually that's kind of what happens.
It's a good show. There's plenty of good behind the scenes. So, it'll be great.
Hey, Gary.
Hey.
You able to hit every table there?
Got your walking shoes on?
I bought new gel insoles last night, so I'd be feet.
Oh, he's gelling.
I am gelling.
Like Magellan.
I was just trying to paint a picture for the people listening of how much is there.
It's like a football field in there.
Oh yeah,
quite literally.
It's huge. It's huge. Like three football fields. I don't remember. They say 3,500 tables or something like that, and at least 90% of it's guaranteed to be gun related. It's not going to just be tables of toys and surplus and stuff like that. So
exactly.
Now, Travis, you remember where we were last year, right?
Yeah. The table kind of back on that back right corner. Yeah.
Where they had the safe, they the boxes for the safes are back behind here, all unpacked. So we've kind of had to move stuff around and make a little bit of a niche to sit in. But yeah, there are tons of people out and about. There's just a lot of maybe one more.
Hey, Gary, is the Build-A-Bear AR table there? We just go pick out your components and check out at the end of the line? Is that table? Are those guys there again this year?
I do believe so. I walked down that way, and
I like that. It's an all-you-can-eat AR buffet where you piece it together and you check out and you walk out with the gun that you wanted.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you got to go through whatever regulations are, but
spots they had in the spring, so
yeah,
it's pretty easy to find people this year. They're probably in the same spot this year.
Oh yeah, I would imagine they probably keep it. Easy way to do it.
Yeah, but we got a lot better parking places because we got away. So
okay. Hey, quick question. Nice Strike maybe can help me with this. In this chat, how do I boost the volume when I can't slide down to get to everybody? Do you know? I mean, I even go full screen and I still can't do it. Am I missing something here?
Well, you never cross the streams, but
try not to.
But
yeah.
You can, but I think you're as loud as you can get it right now.
All right. Well, I was trying to get the slider to go down to his avatar on the right side. I can't get it to pop up. So
no, normally you can't.
Okay. All right. So Gary, thanks for joining us, man. Hope you're having yourself a good time today and really enjoying it. And it's good to see we got the Gun Channels family out there representing for us. It's always a good thing.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Yeah, man. Hey, chime in anytime if you want to. So it'll be good. All right. Any final thoughts on 458 Socom before we move on to our last topic?
Check it out.
Yeah, there you go. Why not? Why not enjoy it? It's relatively inexpensive to get into. I mean, you got your lower, you get yourself your uppers, and go have fun with it, man.
Just remember, you're gonna have to reload it because it's expensive.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. It's not a cheap run to fire. That's for sure.
I want to go shoot clovers first and then decide.
Yeah, there you go. We take his out, and hey, he's not far from you.
Well, bring it.
Hey, there you go. So the last topic we have here, let's see. Travis P11, expand your screen to full size. I think you can see all 10 then. No, I can. Unfortunately, midnight range, I can't. It could just be because of the resolution on the screen I'm using. It's not a 1080p screen, so I'll see what I can do. But it's if I get it to go, I get it to go. If not, we'll be okay. Because we can still hear him. Okay, so the last topic we have here, and this is another viewer suggested topic. Somebody said, hey, they said with please pieces of kit and gear, stuff that you have in your range box, stuff you highly recommend, and that was part of the discussion last week. So now this week we're going to talk about just guns and items and range items and range bag items that we should just definitely stay away from. We get brand specific if we want to. Of course, one of us can have one great experience with an item and somebody else can have really bad experience with that item. Anybody want to start off with just something that people should stay away from in general?
I'll be glad to.
All right, Tony, let her rip.
First, that freaking Walther CCP, the first gen. That thing is awful.
Okay.
And secondly, Lee's hand loader primer thingy. The hand prime. I used that for about 10 minutes before I broke it.
Oh. And don't they brag about the durability of their products and you get a replacement and this and that?
That's
now, what about Lee's other items though, the regular presses and loading items and things like that? No problems?
Oh, I got no problems with the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
Just that freaking primer.
Stay away from the hand primer.
Yeah.
Now, what was it with that Walther that you had trouble with? Just jam-o-matic? It just wouldn't run no matter what you did, or what?
The assembly and disassembly process was so, what the hell do I want to say?
Cumbersome. It required a tool. It took certain things to take it down.
And it was very hard to tell if you had it right.
Okay.
Until the slide went flying down the range.
Go my. Okay.
Recoil spring and a little retainer clip and stuff like that.
Oh my God. So yeah, you don't want that, especially if it's going to be any kind of I mean, not in a gunfight. Hopefully, you wouldn't have to worry about disassembling your firearm, but just basic maintenance and just range use. To not know, it seems like it was more complicated than it really needed to be. Considering that there's more basic gun designs out there that don't require a tool, that don't have to have anything fancy to work. Kind of shows you why do they even want to complicate the design if it isn't necessary. Okay, so what else, guys? What else do you guys recommend to stay away from? What else? Any products you don't?
Century arms.
Okay, now are we talking? I mean, what if we're talking? Okay, so don't buy a Wasser, is what you're saying, or what?
Well, a Wasser is a Romanian AK. It's not specifically.
Okay.
It's not specifically Century.
Well, I mean, I never know what's. I mean, they're taking parts kits and modifying them themselves, or they'll go through.
I'm going to go downstairs right now and cuddle up next to my Century M1 Grand that shoots just as good as a Springfield Armory or International Harvester.
Okay. So, okay, what?
Any new production Century gun.
Okay, like a standalone.
Century built it in one of their factories in Vermont. I think Century's got a bad rap like some of the other companies. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying, look, my Wasser, I had to send it in right away for warranty stuff. When it came back, I didn't have a problem with it. I just, I don't think they're all bad. I mean, but you know what? If you've had a bad experience or multiple bad experiences with a certain brand, or, you go out to buy it for the first time and you have issues, it'll leave a bad taste in your mouth where you won't want it again. So if you're talking from personal experience, I see where you're going. If you're talking about the scuttlebutt on the internet where people just, one Nut and Fancy has a problem with it, so now everybody has a problem with it, even though nobody's shot it, then,
Well, I'm thinking
I don't know. I mean, Matt had the only good IO, right?
I don't know. Most of us have a problem with Nut and Fancy, so I don't know.
Well, I'm just using him as an example, but I mean, didn't Matt have the only working IO
AK? Yes, he did.
Yeah.
When you're talking about AKs, you got the RAS-47, which I bought one of the second-gen models. Hadn't even seen AK-47 Operator Union's channel or their tests on it, their 5,000 round test.
Oh, yeah.
I posted a video on it, and then I'm getting ripped by people. Why would you buy that POS? That cast trunnion is going to blow up on you. Why would you blah, blah, blah? I actually ended up selling it because I just was tired of hearing about people talk about how bad it was. And so I sold it after 300 rounds. I was like,
I've had to make some changes to my Century C308, but overall, I'm happy with the gun because I got it working how I want it. It's working and running reliably. It's just AWAG has had a bad experience with Centuries, so that's why he knocks it.
But there can be.
I'm holding her right now. Don't worry. Don't listen to AWAG. He doesn't have to.
Guys, we're talking about two completely different guns here. We're talking about totally different platforms. I mean, you can't rip on them for one because, you might have a Century imported, forged trunnion Hungarian platformed AK that's going to run like.
I think I know what it is. He's angry that they're selling PSLs now, and he can't afford it.
No,
that's why
I have a parts kit, and all I need is a receiver.
Or Centuries, or Century.
Those are the Centuries.
Yeah, Centuries are importing them. They're not even making them.
They're importing them.
I would say stay away from cast trunnion AKs in general. I mean, and the thing is, they're selling the RAS-47s now and the C39V2s. It feels like they've gone up in price since they first came out. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I bought mine when it was. I think I paid like $499 for the wood version. Now they're $600. So I mean, and then the C39V2s are pushing $800 or $900. You're getting up into Arsenal or Vepr territory when you start talking that kind of money, or even just a nice Yugo with a forged trunnion. My only expression would be to stay away from a cast trunnion AK. If you want to keep it for a lifetime and not have to worry about headspace issues, and maybe you'll never put 5,000 rounds through it, it won't be an issue. And I'm sure there's a lot of RAS-47 owners that buy it, put a magazine through it, put it back in the safe, and that's it. And they'll never shoot it again, and that's fine. But if you're somebody who shoots a lot, maybe you do 100 rounds a week or 200 rounds a week through your AK. Eventually, you're going to get to that point where you're going to have a gun that's going to be worn out, and is the manufacturer going to make right on it? Because Century guns, if I'm not mistaken, only have a 1-year warranty.
Right. Yeah.
And I've heard you see horror stories, you read horror stories online where they won't take it back because they said, no, you wore the gun out. That was your use. Our firearm, stayed the way it was supposed to for a year. That's your problem.
I'm not a big fan of that 1-year warranty. So my advice for anybody is take it out and shoot it right away. I was going to set on my AK for a few more weeks before I took it out and shot it. And I'm like, you know what? I got ammo. I'll go do it now. And I had problems. So I took it right back out. I think it was the next day or the next weekend and tried it again, had similar problems. So I contacted Century and they said, ship it back. We'll fix it. I shipped it to them. They had it for a couple weeks. They shipped it back. I didn't pay anything shipping going or coming. All I had to do was fill out the 4473 again because I had it shipped to my FFL
And they didn't charge me a transfer fee or anything else like that. They were very supportive. They're like, look, we won't ship it out of here and we won't handle the paperwork for you. Century won't let you do that anyhow, but we will let you ship it back in here if you feel more secure. We won't charge you a transfer fee, even though, you know, it's technically considered a transfer. And but you need to handle your own warranty. And then I took it out and I shot everything I could find through it to try to get it to fail again and to prove that their repairs worked. And they sent a detailed repair order with the gunsmith's name on it and everything. And it worked fine. And I said, all right. And I've maybe shot it after that, after test firing it with all kinds of different loads, maybe shot it only once. So yeah, if you get something with a 1-year warranty and you just don't have the time or you don't have ammo or something comes up and then you set on it, and because I've got guns in my safe that I still haven't even shot yet, but you know, they're used guns or whatever. You're not going to get anywhere with Century after that 1 year, unfortunately. Taurus did the same thing, right? They went to a 1 year, right?
Yeah, they're 1 year now. And I mean, you know, I don't know. But then again, on the opposite end, you have companies that offer lifetime warranties. And so many people say, well, if it has a problem, I can always send it back and get it fixed for free. Well, you know, it's a situation with my Sky CPX too. You know, after 3 years, I started having problems with it. And I sent it back and they made it right. But is it because they're doing that to just kind of keep people happy so they keep buying the product, even though they're making an inferior product? Or is it, you know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because I like the 1 year warranty, but are they offering it because if you got problems, they're going to keep you happy by making it right on a gun that could potentially fail? I don't know. It's kind of up in the air on that one.
I'm just gonna put this out there. Yeah. But if you buy a PSA AK, it has a lifetime warranty, just like their ARs.
And they've got their second.
Throwing that out there.
Somebody was asking a question if PSA makes the AKs, and they're selling them for less than RAS 47 money. I'm seeing them for $4.99. Sometimes they even pair them up with another AR with matched serial numbers for like $7.99. And so
$8.99,
yeah, you can get. I think when they're on sale, I think you can get into a PSA AK for $4.99. Which at one point the AMD 63 was the best deal out there, like $4.49, not counting an IO. Now they are selling the Hungarian parts kits, Hungarian barreled, or no, Polish parts kit, Polish barreled Pioneer Arms AKs over on Classic, and it's not the old Pioneer Arms rifles. These are actually finished as much as possible in Rodom or Radom, Poland. It's not the Radom factory that made the P64. They're finished there. They're all, you know, forged. You're getting a good barrel. Even I believe the piston is, and they're putting just the minimum number of parts when they get to the US. And I don't know if it's James River Armory that's finishing it and Pioneer Arms is importing it. And they're putting in a decent, you know, like Tapco 2 trigger, the minimum parts you need to make it, what do you call it? What's the requirement?
922R.
922R BS compliant. Okay. So that might be another alternative if you don't want to go, say, with a Wasser, or you don't want to go with the PSA.
Remember, the AK I've got is a Foos special that he built from a parts kit.
Yes, your MD63. Yeah.
And it's got his custom Childress receiver on it that he forgot to switch the receiver on, and that was hilarious. Because when he found out, he's like, "Oh God, I gave you the custom receiver AK," and I go,
"No, that just makes it right for when he tore that Makarov out of my hands at the checkout at that surplus store." So
I offered, "Do you want me to send it back and you can give me one of your other AKs?" He's like, "Nah, go ahead and keep it."
Yeah, looking over here. Okay, so it's $5.39 for the Pioneer Arms AK over on
Pioneer is okay.
Now their older ones had some serious issues. I think AK-47 Operators Union tested one, and it just was garbage. It was terrible. Now they do make a 74. I did not see this. Bulgarian for $6.99, and this finished by James River Armory, which my AMD 63 was finished by James River Armory, and I love it. Has issues with polymer ProMag magazines, but other than that, it runs great. So you can get into it, but man, AK prices are just starting to go up. So $5.39, I'd probably still go PSA, just because you might have better customer service if you need it versus going Pioneer Arms.
AWAG just for you.
They do have Russian Segas for $9.99, also $545. If you want to get one of those. And then you get into, okay, the Wassers are $669. I was just trying to see if the RAS 47 is still a good deal price-wise, and I can't speak about quality. RAS 47 with black furniture is $535, and then they go up from there. So what else do you guys recommend people stay away from? What else has been hey, Jim, what about you? You had a fun experience with Charter Arms, right?
Yeah, we had one of the little undercover 38s. that no, it wasn't a bulldog, but we probably took it to the range, just breaking it in and put maybe 50 rounds through it. And for one thing, I took it to the gunsmith right there at the range. When it started acting up, the hand was broke, so it wouldn't rotate the cylinder anymore.
And it was brand new.
It was brand new. They have lifetime warranty, but
yeah, see that it's like, well, they do, but does that to keep you happy so you get your gun fixed, or is it because they just don't push the quality control? And you might have somebody else out there might have a Charter Arms revolver that is wonderful. I'm testing one right now, a 1970s Police Bulldog 38 Special, and it's fine. But you go online and start reading about some of the people that you read reviews or get into the forums, and I don't want to base my whole opinion on it, but it influences you as a customer. Where they're saying, they were bad in the 80s or bad in the 70s before they moved, or they were known for having shoddy quality back then. Whereas for $50 more, you get yourself into a used Smith or you get yourself a brand new Ruger for $50 more than their retail price. I don't know. So after you got it fixed, did you guys move it out, Jim, or did you guys?
We wound up selling it.
Okay.
I mean, I tested it again, cleaned it up real nice, and then just wound up selling it. And so again, it was never going to be a carry gun or anything like that. But I didn't want to mess with it.
So again, guys, like I said, this is kind of a mudslinging fest we got going on here, but this is just our experiences we've had with certain firearms. Like take a Jimenez Arms. My JA9 was fine. I did about 300 or 400 rounds through it before I sold it. And AMAD had a 380. His blew the slide off the first round he shot it. So
But remember from Travis's example, never buy a Sky CPX2.
Yes. And maybe they've gotten better, because I've had people chime in on my video now that I posted 3 years ago when I started having problems with mine, saying, well, mine's been fine. I'm like, well, have you put 1,000 rounds through it? And you might say, well, that gun's not designed to run 1,000 rounds. It's a
bullshit.
I'm like, okay, but I need to train with this thing. I want to be as proficient as possible with it. It needs to run, man. I'm sorry, 1,000 rounds. It should make it more, especially when they brag about the materials and the craftsmanship and the construction and the high-grade aluminum alloy they use for the slide. They're selling me on this idea of quality and a lifetime warranty, and it just what happened on mine was the extractor basically had worn out within 1,000 rounds, and it required a new slide. It required a new barrel from them. It required a new guide rod and spring. Now, the barrel design was slightly different. The feed ramps were a little bit different. So maybe they knew they had a feed ramp problem too. I didn't have any problems prior to reaching the 1,000 round mark. At that point, it wouldn't run anything. It kept failing to extract, failing to feed. So the frame pins walked out twice. I took out the originals and put oversized pins out. Those came out. I put another set of oversized pins in, which eventually I used a polymer safe super glue to keep the firing pins or the frame pins in, so the thing wouldn't fall apart on me.
The dudes from USCCA, they ran a test on one of those and ran it 1,000 rounds without cleaning it, and the gun never had a problem.
Okay. There we go. I mean, is that, since I would like, I've said this before, I would be willing to try one again. The thing is, for what they're going for, $200, sometimes a little over 200. I'd rather have a PT111 G2 or a brand new Taurus G2C. Heck, I got this, I got this guy for $220. I got the Ruger EC9S for $220. I mean, it runs awesome, man, and it's accurate. And the recoil and the trigger are far, much more higher quality than what I had on the CPX2. So maybe I won't go back to one. Maybe I will buy one and just run another 1,000 rounds to see what happens. And it was funny because Nothing Fancy tested one about a year ago, and I only watched the videos on the guns that I own that he tests, just kind of curious to see what happens to him. He had the same problems as me. Frame pins were walking out, failure to extract, failure to feed, and he didn't even bury it in the snow. This was just using it out in the desert. So, again, it's kind of my challenge to Sky to make a better gun. I want to see them make a higher quality firearm that it's a tool. It can fail. I get it. Parts can wear out. I get it. But it would just be nice if, and I want to support their company. I bought 3 and they all had problems. All right. My wife wanted a purple and black. When we bought her one, frame pins walked out in 80 rounds. My black one failed within 1,000 rounds. I bought a used 2-tone one that just wouldn't cycle worth the darn. I mean, I was using different types of ammo, different weights. It didn't matter, man. Different magazines. I tried everything, man. I think I spent more money on ammo testing that thing than I did on paying for the gun. It's all on my channel. Check it out. You go watch it. So anywho, enough of my ragging. Anybody else want to share? Any bad experiences, negative experiences?
Other than stay away from century stamped guns, sure.
Okay. Fair enough.
The only bad experience that I've had so far is we've at a local gun show, we bought some subsonic reloads from friend's 308, and they obviously weren't reloaded properly. So that was a waste of time and a waste of money. We only bought one box of 20. And then I guess my next bad experience would be the state of Maryland politics. Other than that, I've been pretty good.
I can put one other one out there, but I'm not really going to fault the gun completely. And I had a Taurus PT 709 that hung around in the chamber, live round. I about shot myself with it. But that particular incident was my fault. I didn't check the thing closely enough. But, I will never buy another one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's some interesting comments going on over on the YouTube side, about not designed to run 1,000 rounds. Well, not of high enough quality to run 1,000 rounds is what I would say. So, again, it just kind of depends. You got to try it. Everybody has, some people have positive experiences and some people have negative experiences. And, I've always taken the guns out and cleaned them and broke them in properly and taken care of them. And it is disappointing when these products fail. Anything else out there you guys can recommend people stay away from? What about like maybe cleaning supplies, products? Is there anything that hasn't worked good for you? A little fire clean going on, or some frog lube maybe? What do you guys think about
fire
that?
Clean.
On the other side, this new Remington Rim Oil Pro is really pretty good stuff.
So they have a new lubricant that's out now, or has it been out for a while?
I don't know how long it's been out.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. I guess I've been just either using CLP or just basic Rem oil, for a while. So,
my personal favorite is the what is it? The Tatra gun lubricants. You guys heard of those?
No.
Mm-mm.
It's a lot thicker than your, say, Rem oil or CLP, so it stays put longer. Has like a kind of funky smell to it. Other than that, I put it on everything, and it smooths out the Mosin actions like incredibly. It makes them like butter.
That's one thing about the Rim Oil Pro is it stays a lot longer than the plain Rim Oil did. Noticeably so.
Yeah. Dead Horse is chiming in over on the gun channel side. He's saying stay away from the Winchester USA forged steel case ammo. I think Mac had some trouble with that stuff too. Problem with that is you're buying like a 200 round box. If you got problems with it, man, you're going to really be practicing those clearing drills a lot when you're at the range. I guess I've always just run the Federal 115 grain or higher grain weight ammo through all my firearms and never had a problem. I've tested some guns with steel case just to see how they run. The ARs, the pistols, run a box of Tula through just in case that's the only thing I can find. But yeah, no. As for ammo, I guess I haven't really ever had. Oh, I did have trouble with Perfecta ammunition. Be careful with that. I think they use some really hard primers. I don't know, Perfecta is part of Tula now or isn't. At one point, I think it was made in the Czech Republic, and I don't know where it's made. Might be Russian imported now. I don't know. Tula bought out Perfecta, or Perfecta was a division of Tula. But like you get into like Perfecta and like the Tula Max Brass ammo, they start to look about the same. And also Fiocchi. I think Fiocchi and Perfecta were basically the same ammo, but just with different boxes. Mm-hmm. Made in the same country, same factory. Now my Perfecta, when I tested it on my channel 4 years ago, the Fiocchi was made in the Czech Republic or Italy. And somebody said, no, it's made in Arkansas. It's made domestically. That ammo was so old. It was before they had switched factories. I had trouble running the Perfecta. I think I had trouble with it. I don't know if it was in the Glock. I would have light primer strikes with it, or they used a really hard primer. It wouldn't go off. But the Perfecta was not happy ammo in many of my 9mm. No, I mean, it's a $10 box ammo, and it's brass. So, a lot of people tend to buy it. Yeah.
Back when we had the severe shortage of 22 LR ammo, I bought 3 bricks of Aguila. And the first brick, or at least a few boxes out of that brick, I had an inordinate number of misfires.
Was it weak powder, you think was the problem?
It could have been that they were handled roughly and the primers knocked out of the rim. But
Okay.
after that, the other two were fine. I gave them
the two boxes. And I've never fired any of their ammo. I know a lot of people like their mini slugs or the mini shells that they sell. A lot of people are interested in their ammo. I've never fired. I need to get a box and just try it because it's.
Were they?
They've been around
you know
for a
if
while.
they were the same, all the same lot number, Tony?
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
I've always had real good luck with it myself.
With Aguila? Yeah.
It only happened in first, probably 4 boxes out of the first brick.
Hmm. Did you
And they
contact them to find out about a refund or something? Did you call them and say, your ammo's not working? No? Because
No.
they might want it back just to see what the problem was, and they can take care of you.
It's all gone now.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It was accurate. I mean, there was no problems there. It's just I wouldn't take it hunting because you couldn't depend on it.
So you're shooting out of a semi-auto rifle or bolt-action rifle then, or was it just a handgun you're shooting out of, or what?
I shot it out of everything.
Oh, okay. So consistent across the board, problems with it, no matter what you fired it through.
Yes.
Okay, then it's definitely the ammo. Yeah. Interesting. And I don't know much. I'm not sure about the ammo in general. If it's, again, you go and read reviews on it. Sometimes I think it's just best to try it yourself and see what happens. So.
Well, the thing is 22 ammo is susceptible to being mishandled.
Yeah.
So, I'm not faulting them for it.
Well, I'm just the way they pack it. They're pouring it into boxes or pouring it into buckets. Who knows what kind of damage that can do when you pile all that weight on top of each other. You could have a lot of rounds go bad in the process or get dented or dinged or, who knows.
Because, like I said, after that first few boxes out of that first brick, there wasn't the problems with it. It wasn't any worse than any other ammo I'd have used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else you guys can think about that people should generally stay away from, or just gear or stuff to stay away from in general? Anything else you don't recommend? I mean, there's cheap gear that'll work. I would say watch out for inexpensive dot sights. I mean, they're very hit or miss Tuesday nights or 9 o'clock.
That's right.
There's a $15 imitation Bushnell that I bought from Wish.com that I used a lot. Then I sent it to Night Strike, and he tried it out on a couple different rifles. Do you still have it around, or did you get rid of it?
I've got it on one of my ARs right now.
Okay. And I've had luck with that. But then before that, I went through a bunch of these, like, BSAs or I don't know if it's Sight Mark or whatever center points they're like $30 Cabela specials, little holographic sights that wouldn't hold zero, wouldn't keep zero.
How's that XA just working on the
Ruger Ranch?
Yeah.
Fine. I did probably not as many rounds as the other scopes. I think I probably did 50 through it, 50 rounds, 75 rounds through it. I'm going to take it back out before season starts in case I want to, if that's a gun I want to use. It's fine. It holds zero just fine. That's just the X Aegis. I don't know if it's a 10 to 40 by 50 scope. It's a beast. And that's a $36 scope. I don't know, something like that. And
39, I think.
39. The prices on them fluctuate, and sometimes you can get discount codes and stuff. But, and again, I am at some point I'll start going towards more higher end optics. I'm appreciating more clarity in glass, more light in glass than the dollar value. I mean, I'm more about maybe looking at an entry level Leopold or possibly a Vortex or something like that. So I'll start upping my game on glass or eventually Nikon, go that route. I've never had
an SWFA. Get a nice scope.
True. And I can get into one for just a little bit more than like a Vortex.
Hey, Black Friday is coming up.
This is true. Hey, there you go. Well, and the new deer rifle I'm looking at buying, it's going to come with an optic. So I'm going to try that and see how it works. But if it doesn't, I can always upgrade it down the road too. Tony, what's up?
That reminds me, I got to take my 742 out and sight it in. I haven't shot the gun yet, and I've had it for 2 years.
Get on it.
There you go. Awesome. Any other things people should stay away from? Anything else? Like I said, most of kind of the entry level stuff at Walmart, you get's okay, and some of the operating stuff. Some of those cheaper flip up iron sights you want to watch out because they don't have the best spring retention in them. I got a set of NC Stars I've had for years that run fine. But
it was mentioned before, but we should probably mention again: stay away from fire clean. It's just vegetable oil.
Okay, so I can just pour vegetable oil down the barrel and get the same experience.
Crisco.
Yeah, man.
Crisco.
Crisco. Yeah.
Get the ramrod, just coat the barrel with Crisco, and
if you're gonna go that
that's not a black powder. I know.
you're going to go that route, use bacon grease, so at least it makes you hungry when you're shooting.
Yeah, it makes a nice smell. Makes a nice smell. Leaves a nice slick coating. Yeah,
or just wrap your AR in bacon, and after you're done shooting it for a while, you'll have bacon.
Fire away, man.
You Magnum. Wrap your barrel in bacon. Now put the Crisco on first, then wrap your barrel in bacon.
Right. You want the Crisco on first.
Jim, you're talking about purple stained brass Winchester ammo. Did they have a batch of ammo that went out there that got something spilled on it, or what?
No. SG Ammo was selling this stuff, and it's they supposedly make it in 223 as well as some handgun calibers.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be marketed, and I've never talked to a cop who's ever seen this stuff, but it's supposed to be marketed for law enforcement. So you have these purple boxes and purple stained brass cases that is specifically practice ammo.
Okay.
And so.
Oh, is it the Winchester practice line? Because they have the training practice,
I got it.
Practice self-defense line ammo. Okay.
Yeah, I've got it.
But it's specifically, I mean, it's in a bright purple box, and it's specifically supposedly marketed to law enforcement, although you can just buy it.
I've been looking for some of that stuff. I haven't seen any of that stuff available in a while.
I think they stopped making it.
They may have, because this place SGMO was clearing it out, and I was able to get the Winchester rebate at the time that they were running anyway. So.
They had was it 10% back, 12% back, or something like that? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was 25% off up to a certain amount.
Yeah.
But overall it was worth it. There was probably 4 or 5 rounds out of the 1,000 that kind of popped instead of banged, and it didn't squib. So the round made it out of the barrel, but I don't know how far it went because it was kind of a fizzle.
Yeah,
it was definitely a stop, drop your mag, clear your weapon, and check the barrel kind of experience.
Yeah. Oh man, not fun.
I shot some of it. I think I only got 2 or 4 boxes of it, and I shot 1 or 2 boxes, and I didn't have any issues. And next time I went to buy some, it said it was out of production. So I said, well, maybe I'll just hold on to this for collectability.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. Anybody else want to chime in? Anything to stay away from? Worst gear purchases we ever made? Anything out there? No? Okay. Well, guys, I think we will go ahead and call it for today. We went about 2 hours today, which is a good little run. So let's see who was with us over on the gun channel side real quick. We had Calaveras 32 Special over there and on the gun channel side. Jim was there and here. Dead Horse chimed in over on gunchannels.com. Paper Plane Crash was with us too. Good to have all you guys with us today, so thank you for joining us. YouTube side, man, got a nice big crowd going on. You're Next is with us. Jorge Cortez, the Gun Snob, Sean Pondery, AC97, Scott P79 was out there. Travis T was in the house today. Midnight Range TM. Rich White's with us. Texas Blades, I think Vanessa Kitty is out there too. Texas Blades, I don't know if I've seen you before in the chat. Maybe I just missed you. I apologize. Tacos and French fries always in the house. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Moobut was with us. I think Black Cat Outdoors too was there. Otherwise, Ozzy Orsborn was with us. 182nd Ideas. Gun Collective stopped over for a little while. TGC News was with us. Always good to see you guys stop over, join in on the conversation. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much about it. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. I do apologize if I did. We'll have another episode next Saturday. I will probably take the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend off. I got the anniversary with the wife. We got family coming out for Thanksgiving, so we're going to be hosting the family here. It's going to be hard to be able to do a podcast, but maybe something pops up for Black Friday. If I do any shopping, I might go live on you. Otherwise, in a week or two, hopefully I can announce the new deer rifle I'm going to be purchasing that I'll be using for the January season. I'm going to take the Ruger Ranch with me, but I'm in the market for a 6.5 Creedmoor, so I'm looking at different models, different options, and I'll save it for an unboxing or unveiling at some point down the road. Nothing too crazy, just, something to look at, something that looks like a solid shooter for not a lot of money.
Wait a second here.
Yeah.
I see where your priorities are. You're going to cast us aside to be with family. What kind of crap is that?
You guys are my family. Hey, you know what? First of all, Tony, I give you a kidney for starters. All right. Second, you can move in anytime you want to. Our place is always available to anybody. You guys can come stay with us.
Oh, no. I got dibs on the upstairs. Sorry, man.
There's 2 beds up there. You guys, there's plenty of room for the whole family. Okay. Look, we'll make my wife's hobby craft room into a guest bedroom if we need to. We'll push the tables of bric-a-brac aside. You guys can sleep down here in the gun cave. It's heated. All right.
I didn't tell you, Travis. If my wife leaves me, I'm coming to Nebraska.
Dude, you're welcome. You guys are family, man. I love you guys like brothers and sisters.
I get a job at the chicken factory.
You guys are the beef factory. You guys are the brothers and sisters I never had. All right, I'm just gonna get that out right now. Hold on. I need a moment. I knew I was gonna do it. I promised myself I wasn't gonna shed a tear, but it's true, man. No, seriously, I love you guys.
Get him some tissue.
All right, there we go. If you don't mind the dog and the cat, you guys are. If you got allergies, we'll take care of you. So I'm just saying, Tony. I'm just saying. All right. Yeah. We can make room for you. We can make room for you in the way. What's that?
I was rolling up my pants legs here.
Oh God! What? You coming to kick my butt or what?
I think he's avoiding the BS.
No, I mean this seriously, man. It's you don't understand us Nebraskans, Tony.
I think that was Tony's response saying it was getting too deep.
Tony, think of it like this: the people in Nebraska are friendlier than Canadians.
And I'm serious about my kidneys, Tony.
That's pretty friendly.
Heck, my kidneys are fine, man. It's the heart that I'm having problems with.
I need mine. I'm sorry. Until we can get you a replacement we can pick up at Walmart, you're going to have to just keep fighting, brother.
Vodka for breakfast fund.
Did I get another one?
Yeah.
You guys are pushing me in an area. I try to keep this family friendly. Martin, it's going towards the Monday, Wednesday chats with NEA. Since he kind of encourages it, it's some peer pressure over there.
It's getting cold.
Martin, thank you, Martin.
Travis, why don't we just call it the Black Rifle Coffee Fund?
We could call it the Mimosa Breakfast Fund. How about that? I can do mimosas. That's nice and casual and kind of, a little bit higher standard. So,
I was thinking, it's getting cold up there. You could do the Bailey's in the coffee for breakfast fun.
Yeah,
probably get away with that.
Maybe some brandy or something. Travis T is saying he's planning on making another video tonight. Check it out. Should be up by tomorrow morning. Caliber says I have dibs on the gun room. Plenty of room for you, brother. Plenty of room for you. I don't think you're gonna like the weather.
I've already called the couch.
Sean Pottery says hashtag treats for the corgis fun. Dude, he gets enough treats in the house, man. That corgi, he gets man. Yeah. Anyway,
that dog.
What if Black Rifle Coffee started making dog treats?
Oh, I'd buy them. Black Rifle doggy treats. There you go. Tactical pup treats or something like that. Yeah, I'd go get them. Heck yeah.
If that's not a thing, it needs to be. So we need to get on that.
I'll do a review. I won't eat them, but I'll let my dog tell me about them. Let me know how they are.
Happy F treats for your dog.
So we just stick with just milk bones. He gets a couple a day.
I'll eat one.
I'll eat one.
Yeah, I got a milk bone right here.
Oh my God!
I'll be like Agent Maxwell on Greatest American Hero, eating the milk bone.
Make a video out of it, like what dips work best with milk bones, because at $4 a box they're fantastic value. They're up there with like cheese nibs and nips.
I never thought about dipping it in anything. I just take it straight.
Nacho cheese, they're kind of great. Maybe a good like a nice French onion dip might be good, or a good ranch dip might work with. They're kind of grainy. Maybe get some cheese to put on there, some cheese whiz.
I'm embarrassed to say that I'm hungry now.
We're talking about dog food, man.
I'm rattling these milk bones around in the box, and the dog isn't coming running down here to get one.
It can't be any worse than some of the breakfast cereal we put down ourselves.
It's made by the same company.
It is. You ever see Uncle Sam cereal? You're basically eating stuff right out of a pasture, man. It's flax and whole wheat grain and bran. I mean, that's a little bit of corn thrown in there. Yeah. And we're going down that rabbit hole.
Okay, that rabbit hole is deep.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us for Caliber Corner episode number 66, where we talked about FFL Post Sale Responsibility, 458 Socom, yay or nay, worst guns and gear ever. Will Travis P11 give Tony his kidney someday, and also delicious dips for dog treats. So there you go. We didn't cover it. It doesn't exist. It's that simple.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you all joining in. Thanks for watching over in the chat. Again, make sure you like or subscribe, mash the button. I got a lot more videos coming your way. a lot of fun stuff coming up. Some different things coming up for you too. Some fun stuff. I'm going to go ahead and let the panel just go ahead and say goodbye before we drop out of here. So, AWAC, we'll start with you this time.
Thanks for the invite, first of all.
Cool.
And check out my channel. I got massively over-edited. Yeah, weird. I kind of went from a channel that hardly ever edits to over-editing sometimes. Just
because you're starting to care, man.
Yeah.
Supra update real quick. Is it running?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. I saw some pictures on Instagram. I didn't know when I saw it parked out front. You took your picture of it. I thought that it was done.
No. I'm just saying that I returned back to Instagram, but the car is still dead. I ripped the radiator out of it the other day.
JDM front clip, bro. JDM front clip. That's all you need. You're ready.
I'm looking for one. I can't find one that's under $10,000, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Here's what you do: just take the money you're going to put into the Supra and just go buy an actual JDM import car and be done with it. Just get the car you want. Go buy Sylvia. Go buy a JDM Supra.
Nah, man.
Do it. Come on, let the child
right-hand drive is so difficult when it comes to drive-throughs.
You'll get used to it. You're young. You'll be fine. You can adapt
to reverse through the drive-through.
Hey, if I can live with one kidney, you can drive left-hand drive. Okay, we can do this, AWAG. I believe in you. I believe in you.
All I want to do is put a stupid engine in the car and
make
it fast.
Or you can just buy my Civic and just be done with it, and not have to worry about it.
Why not have both?
There you go.
You can always do what everybody else does if they want a reliable car. You can just do an LS swap.
I honestly thought about doing that, and I was like, but cool. I like the high revs, though.
But you want the reliability, so just bite the bullet and get an LS.
Get yourself a nice Chevy, and you'll be fine.
Just trade it in on a Malibu or something. Just sell it and just take your losses and go buy yourself like a Ford Fusion.
Dude, you can get a turbocharged Malibu that'll blow the doors off of. It looks like a grocery getter, but that son of a bitch will move.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Go buy a Demon.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not a fan of Dodge products. No, thank you.
That thing will pop a wheelie.
Cool.
Yeah, and then not start the next day because of the crappy Fiat engineering.
I will admit that when they took over, they kind of did water things down. Yeah. I can tell you that when I go by the Crystal Cathedral there in Auburn Hills with the big Pentastar logo at the top, it says FCA. It Fiat Chrysler. It's like,
I'll tell you something right now. Oh, if you guys are looking at buying a new Pacifica, don't. Our friends bought one and it's been a nightmare. It's terrible. Do not buy a new Pacifica. Don't even buy one that's a year old.
And you have trouble getting parts for them from the dealers. Some of the OEM parts they're not in stock.
It will pop a wheelie.
Yeah, but then not start the next day when you need it to, when you're trying to go load it up.
It will pop a wheelie. What more do you need?
That's all you need is to pop a wheelie, man. It'll smoke the tires off and get you where you want to go. It's one of those cars where you can leave late for work and still show up on time, AWAG. There you go. All right, so let's shift on over to Clover Tech. Clover, you got any good buys for us? You got any parting words for us, buddy? Thanks for joining us, man.
Well, I need to apologize to the chats out there because obviously on mobile I wasn't able to see those and participate, which kind of sucks.
Okay.
But thanks for throwing me a link, get me that, give me something to do while I was watching the table here. So if anybody out there is listening and is in Tulsa, then find us, hang out, let's do it.
I will give you guys a tip. If you're going to see these guys, don't carry a gun with you, especially if it's cold.
Well, they have you checking in at the gun show anyway when you're at Wanamaker. They ask you to check it in. I'm assuming most people do, but they got security there.
There was a guy that just walked by the table. There was a guy that just walked by the table that was gun security or whatever, had a big handful of zip ties. So.
Oh yeah, they've got really. I mean, I'm always for carrying, all right, but if you have to disarm to go to an event like this, they've got amazing security. I mean, these guys are hardcore, man. At every door, all right. Okay, we'll get to you, Nice Strike. We'll get to you, man. All right, so Clover Tech, you have a lot of fun. Don't have too much fun. Clover, are we going to see you do some karaoke? Are you going to go out tonight and do some karaoke for us?
No, that ain't happening.
Oh, come on, man. You got a good singing voice. I'm sure you can bust out some Marty Robbins, right?
That ain't happening. We're off in Claremore anyway. I don't know
if
you got karaoke over in Claremore.
All right. Well, we'll get you next year.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
All right, we'll do some Toto, Africa. All right, so David Bowling, what's cracking, brother? All right. What do you think, man? Good stuff for you?
Oh, yeah, always a good time. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
And just to let you guys know, there's a VR challenge that was set upon me late last night by David Bowling, and I went ahead and responded to it. It's already on Patreon. It'll be going live tomorrow morning. I'll just go ahead and put it up I'll just put it up in the morning when I get up. It's totally different. It's not a gun topic, but it sort of is. It kind of can be, I guess. So, guys, make sure you check out David Bowling's channel. Get over there and subscribe to him if you haven't done so. And all right, so David, hopefully see you next Saturday, man. All right.
Plan on it for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Gizzard Gary, did you pick up a new gun yet or not? Did you buy anything? What'd you buy me?
I haven't bought anything yet. No. Money yet, but I probably won't be a gun because I don't have that. I don't have Travis P11. But, you know.
Oh, please, man. Come on. I'm the man who buys the $40 scopes, okay?
Gary, do me a favor. If you see any more shall not be infringed patches, let me know because I need one or two more.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably have that one dude that's got the huge roll with the patches on it, and they've got like 3 for $10 or 3 for $12, whatever their prices are. They got some really good deals.
Yeah, I need a few more of those shall not be infringed patches.
But if you're in Wanamaker at the gun show, check us out. We're in the upper level.
Okay.
Just clear over by the red, 2 tables over. Come check us out and say hi. And to see you here, I'll probably try to go live later on today myself and forget for later on. So thanks for having me.
Cool, man. No, it's always good having you on, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, Jim, moving on. Anything you want to plug before we head out, before we start our weekend?
Can I say shall not be infringed before Night Strike?
Oh, yes. Shall not be infringed. All right, man. Cool.
Thanks for the invite, y'all.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us. Hopefully, you'll be back next week, and it's good to hear about the grandson, and hopefully he's on the mend and the heel, and everything goes good. You need to start looking at that Christmas gun purchase. So I'd sit down with him and start browsing over a few things. Might see a 458 Socom in his future. I don't know.
The little cricket 22s are great for grandkids that are like 3 and above.
I don't know. He might like a nice little Ruger 22 Precision. That might be kind of fun to play around with, and then he can graduate to one of these later on.
Get him a 4570.
I don't listen to Nice Strike. None. Why not? You can always get it when he turns 16, right? There you go.
I can do like Matt and buy a 4570 and not shoot it for 3, 4, or 5 months.
Oh my God! No,
yeah, not shoot it for a couple months, and then a couple people give him a whole bunch of ammo for it at Tulsa, and he still hasn't fired the damn thing.
I'm staying out of this one. He's a busy man. Look, if I had 4 kids, I probably would have time for
No.
Right? I got 150, but I leave them at school when I go.
Travis,
home, okay?
you were there. Not only did Cycle Camp give him like 3 or 4 boxes, but even Sean Ponry gave him 2 boxes, and he still hasn't shot.
Cycle said he'd kick his butt if he hadn't shot it by the next time he saw him. So
right.
I don't know, man. Cycle Camp's a pretty big dude, so he's got that old man strength in the words of Yankee Marshall.
I would be leery about shooting the stuff that Ponry gave him.
Yeah,
dude, it's solid. It's solid.
He's not gonna do that.
So Jim is saying out there he wants to see Clover Tack singing "Sexual Healing." So Clover, the next time I see you, we'll do some karaoke and we'll do some bust a little bit. Is that Al Green, Marvin Gaye? Is that
Marvin Gaye.
There you go.
Jorge Cortez mentioned Marvin Gaye. I was like, we got to do
both of them. Al Green, greatest hits. Marvin Gaye's greatest hits. That's all you need right there. And if you're trying to start a family, that's all you really need. So I'm just gonna say that right now. When I get that healing, I need sex. All right. So moving on. Night Strike. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here, bro?
Yes, I felt the rain down in Africa.
Little Toto, which has been remade by some new.
Everybody.
Oh, it was remade by.
I found some more AR parts. I'm gonna have to build another rifle.
There we go. All right, man. All right.
So another AR build is in the making. Though, I don't know if I may pull the trigger on one of those 450 Bushmaster or 458 SOCOM uppers just for the hell of it.
Yep. Hey, I got some AR parts that I'm willing to part with.
Okay, well, let me know. I might have some AK parts I'm willing to part with.
And I think you need to do the complete build live over on guntube.org, Nice Strike.
I may have to, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's where it's at, bro.
Yeah.
So hey, now we know what to get. Now we know what to get you for Christmas.
Hold up. Hold up, Travis.
Yo.
Also, remember to check me and Travis out on our other podcast. That's Hit or Miss, Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock on the Night Strike 1 channel on YouTube.
When
check out guntube.org.
When that gets done, going over to Sandhill Shooters channel and check out 2A Tuesdays, all right?
I can't remember the name of the gun company now, but ain't it coming closer to fruition? They're swapping parts.
What are we talking about?
Nightwagen Verks.
Nightwagen Rifle Verks. That's going to be the conglomerate that Night Strike and AWAG are going to form as soon as
it's Nightwagen Gunworks.
Nightwagen Gunworks. Yeah.
Yes.
It's WAGYN, right? Is that what the deal was with the spelling?
No clue.
Never enough lies.
The Wagner wagon thing. So yeah. It's all right. It'll happen.
What did you say like Elmer Fudd?
I thought it was NYGHT.
Wagon Waffle Works.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, we wabbit. All right, man. So Nice Strike. You guys check out Tuesday night, Hit or Miss, 9 o'clock. 8 o'clock Central Time. 8 o'clock Central Time is all you really need to remember because everything else comes from us. It has to be judged by us because we set the standard.
Don't listen to him.
These East Coast people, they're all cocky and stuff, you know. Yep. Wait for the next hurricane. All right. We're fine. We're fine here. Our time's.
I'm originally from Arizona. I'm a big fan of mountain time.
Oh man, those mountain time people. They speed so much on the interstate. All right, Nice Strike. So thank you so much, brother. All right, so Squib. Any parting words, bro?
Nah, goodbye.
All right, hey, there you go. Excellent. Again, if you're a fan of Squib, he's all over the place on many different podcasts. You can't go far and not see him in a podcast, so that's always a good thing. So there you go. All right, and last but not least, Tony, any words of wisdom before we call it?
Well, I had a whole crap load of it, but I forgot it now.
Was it the crap I was dishing your way earlier, or what?
I don't remember. I forgot it. I told you.
Okay, Travis, new rule. Tony goes first every time.
Sure, no problem, man. Well, I always let Tony start. You know,
we send him a pad and a pen so he can make notes.
I may not be here next Saturday.
Okay.
That is our deer season. I've not decided yet whether I'm going to bail or not.
It's all right, man.
If it's like today, I ain't going to go because it's too cold.
Yeah, it's not fun to go tromp around when it's 0, 5, 7 degrees, 10 degrees out, and it's windy. And I mean, you can dress for it and stuff, and you can be a tough guy and go do it, but it's just not comfortable, you know.
Well, I have problems with my hands.
Yeah.
But I'll throw out a good day to everybody. And I should be on Rick's chat at 3 o'clock. So
cool.
3 o'clock Central.
3 o'clock Central Time. 4 o'clock East Coast.
No, it's 2 o'clock Central then.
Okay.
Hell, I don't know. Afternoon.
Just go over to gunchannels.com. You can find the TV schedule, and you'll be able to see what the TV schedule and see what episodes, what shows are going to be on the internet. So there you go. Cool, guys. All right. And don't forget, you can also support GunTube over on Patreon, too. Nice Strike's keeping that going. There's live streaming available over there on guntube.org. Keep that in mind. So if you want to get your channel up and running, you want to get some content out there, you're all set to go. Mad Sexy is saying that your beard is getting long. I know. I'm just going to let it go. I'm just kind of catching some of these strays and just kind of letting it fill out right now. And, you know, it's kind of nice. People are like opening doors for me now and calling me sir and being all patient with me like I'm, you know, on my way over the hill. So yeah, it's keeping my face warm too because it's freezing outside right now. We're sitting at about where are we at? It is 13 degrees. No, 20. It's 20 degrees now outside. Yes, almost up to freezing. So anyway, all right, guys, that is it. Thanks for joining us. We're gonna go ahead and bug out. This has been Caliber Corner episode number 66. Covered a variety of topics. We will have more fun topics for next week, and I'm now tapping into the 10,000 subscriber viewer suggestions. That's what you heard today, and that's what you're going to hear in the future for quite a while. So otherwise, guys, that's it. Have fun. Be safe. We will talk to you soon, and we'll see you guys next week.
Adios, Felicia.
Bye, guys.
Shut up, infringed!
You stole my line.
Alicia.
You stole my